Welcome back to the Harbingers D&D campaign. This is session 7. Well, I guess just one hand. 7. Um, welcome back. We are super excited to continue the story where we last left off on this grand adventure. Sad to see the Nat 1 nerds go, but we are grateful that they were able to come regardless. Yeah, and by all means, let's get started with the recap. So I believe Sierra's on that one.
To recap last session, it was so exciting. We fought some skeletons out of a skelly pile, made a whole bunch of signs with illusory script and a magic quill. Finally convinced Douse to plug his ears after many back and forth conversations.
Quite the feat.
Where Nuri also took out her hearing for a little while, her earplugs, so she could hear Douse, and also forgot some things. But then we discovered upon when your ears are plugged, you get your memories back. So that was cool. We had to crawl over some icky bones, but they were just sheep and cows, so it was okay. But we discovered this big cavern that had a wood fence in it with sheep, 2 cowering kids, and Brandon, who is still alive, protecting them. And there was this most hideous monster who Dusty thought was super adorable, but it wasn't. That was a false Hydra, which led to an epic battle where it fell over and over again in grease piles, was blasted back and forth by magical water whips, and was shot and stabbed multiple times repeatedly, and was also put in a silenced cone by our amazing friends, which turned the battle in our favor. We would have died otherwise, I'm pretty sure. Yes, and once it died, everyone got their memories back, we think, of people who are still alive. We don't know. But we do know for sure that the elf girl that was there, named Dane, who, as far as we know, is the twin sister to Amaris, is dead. And her memories did not come back when we killed the Hydra. And we'll do a little time skipping this session, but we did say goodbye to our friends, had a little heartfelt goodbye with them, as we also had returned Tax to her mom. But we're gonna do some time skipping, so yay. That was that session. Go back and watch it. It was fun.
Okay, awesome. Alrighty, well, I guess we'll just dive right back in. Okay. If my screen loads. There we go. Okay. So are you guys all on the map still? I believe so. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to rewind a bit back because I know Greg really wanted this experience. So we're going to rewind it back a bit. So you have just defeated the Hydra. It's cold. It's in this room, this big musty cavern. The scent of freshly spilled false Hydra blood is in the air, the coppery scent. You're covered in sweat. All of you have taken off the taken out the bread or the cloth that has kept you deafened this entire time. You can hear the sheep bleating in the little pen that they are in, and they're now actually all like huddled together, um just flocking together. um and you see that over here Brandon with the 2 children are still like holding on to each other, and I believe one of you guys did heal Tax a little bit, right?
Yep.
Merilla, that's right. You did heal Tax a little bit. So that is where we are going to go back in.
So Dusty's going to drop his wild shape because it'd actually still be a giant lizard right after it's defeated. But it'll drop his wild shape, and he can hear things now. That's really cool. So he can actually talk. I realized last session Dusty did not say a word, which I thought was kind of funny. But Dusty, he's kind of gonna meet up with the group, and he's gonna say, "Did we get all the people out of the structure over there? Is everyone all right?"
I don't know what you should call all right, but they are all alive, right here. She's gonna like point to like the enclave of the wall where Brandon took the two kids.
Well, I mean, almost all of them. And she kind of looks back at this one.
Dead body.
Yeah, I suppose you can't save all of them. All right. Well, we best grab these sheep as well.
Right. Do you know if there's like a cleric or something around that we can try and bring her back?
Let me think.
I mean, what's his name? The guildmaster, he mentioned there might be some people he would know. We could go ask him.
But this isn't the same town, Douse. Oh, guildmaster? Or do you mean the police dude?
No, the guildmaster. I'm looking for our notes.
Dorothy?
Not Dorothy.
Novak?
Novak, yes.
Dorothy's the guildmaster.
Yeah, Dorothy's the guildmaster. I was thinking Novak though.
That's a different town.
It is a different town, but we could still go back and ask it.
Oh, that's true, I guess.
It would be a trip, but
this was a big town. If there is a cleric still remembered here, there should be one.
There should be a cleric. There usually is a cleric at the temple in town, the Temple of Solaris.
While you talk about this, I'm just gonna do a spell. I'm gonna do a spell on the dead body, so don't mind me.
She's casting spells.
You're going to do the same trick Echo did with the skull?
No. I'm just making it so she lasts longer, so we can bring her back. We have more time. That's all. Don't mind.
Lasts longer. And Merilla's just gonna go pay her attention over to Brandon.
So Dusty's gonna kind of hop the fence toward the sheep, and he's going to try and calm them down. He's gonna explain to them that everything's okay now using his animal speech. He goes up to them and he says, "Hush, hush, it's okay. We've got you. We'll get you back to your master."
Did we make it canon that when you do your beast speech, the animals actually talk back to you? We did.
It's how we've done it each time.
Okay. All right. So you said hush, hush.
Everything's gonna be okay. We took care of the beast. We'll bring you back to your masters.
Let's see what I can do for this. All right. The sheep kind of like all are still huddled together. And you just hear one of them respond as, "Ah! Thanks. Thank you very much. Can we go?"
Yes, of course. You can come with us.
They instantly flock around your legs. And you now have like 3 fluffy clouds basically just like of sheep just shuddering in your legs surrounding you.
Good. That's adorable. So Dusty, he'll kind of lead them towards the entrance with the other players.
Okay. They will be following you. They are very good at following.
You now have pets.
Oh, Dusty, how useful. We can use the sheep to carry the girls out, right? And maybe Brandon too. He looks awful. I don't want his wife to see him like this, but she's going to have to.
Yes, of course. I'll let them know. And Dusty turns to them. He says, "We're gonna set the other people top you. Actually, are you hungry?" He asks.
To the sheep?
Yeah.
I like to imagine he's just belting back at these sheep, and we're just sitting here listening to the whole conversation, not knowing what it is.
Basically.
Brrr.
We haven't eaten in days.
All right. Well, I'll get you something. And he's going to cast the spell Goodberry.
Yes.
He's gonna draw some sigils with his totem, and he's gonna say a couple druidic words, and he's going to produce 10 berries.
Hey, awesome.
And he
And you're
gives-
just
Yeah, he gives one to each of the sheep. The berries provide enough nourishment to sustain a creature for a day, so it's basically like a 3-course meal worth of
dang
food.
in one berry. Super
Take your
berries.
vitamins.
So good berries mean the unicorn totem, right?
No.
No,
Dang it!
But-
Okay, never mind.
but, I mean, this is just so that they have food,
Okay.
not so they're healed.
It doesn't
If I was
have to
healing
be,
them,
but like I was
absolutely.
coming up with a plan if it was. Okay.
She's ready to drop on all fours, start worshiping.
So,
No, that was not the plan, but she could have.
Hey,
Dusty, he's
Dane,
gonna-
high or low?
Let's go start the campaign off high. So we'll go high.
Okay, so
Session.
one of the sheep actually comes up to you and starts licking your like leg and like trying to lick your hands. It seems like it's thirsty.
Do I still have that whip with me, or no? It went back in the bracelet, right?
It did. It went back in the bracelet.
I'm just
Now you have 3 sheep all come over. They all come over and they're just
no.
licking you.
Just start like
You don't happen to have some
backing
water, do
away.
you?
No.
They are very much following you.
He's basically gonna end up getting cornered by these sheep. Is what's happening here.
Yes. Exactly.
So we can fast forward to the point that he's actually in the corner, stuck with the 3 sheep.
During this time, Dusty's gonna kind of turn towards where Merilla is, and he's gonna say, "I can give some of the berries to the prisoners as well.
What's an excellent idea?
If they're hungry."
Yes. I've healed Tax a little bit, but I think for all of them, the trauma was a bit much.
Wait, you said Tax. This is actually the first time he realized that Tax is even here.
It's true. Yes, Tax. She's just right over there with Brandon and this other young. Wait, was it a young boy or was it a young girl?
Young
Other younger
boy.
one. Okay.
So Dusty's gonna kind of push past you guys. He's like pushing. He's like literally like pushing you aside as he walks through, and he's gonna come over to.
I'm excited, I see.
The group of people, and he sees Tax.
And her eyes also lock up with yours. And she just reaches her arms up.
Dusty, he like kneels down and he like reaches his arms down to give her a hug.
She eagerly like just wraps around you, and it seems like she's like holding on as tight as she can, but it's very weak, and so it's not very much.
Dusty, he's gonna say, "Hold on, I have something for you." And then he's gonna kind of like, after like they've hugged for a good few seconds, and he's going to set her down, and he's gonna reach into his bag, and he pulls out the bread that he got from her mom, and he's going to tear off a piece of it and then take a berry and hand it to her. He says, "The bread's from your mom," and then he's gonna start pass. He's gonna kind of stand up and pass the berries to the other two people as well.
The other two like eagerly take them. The little boy just like shoves the berry in his mouth really fast and just like starts licking his lips with it. It tasted very good to him. Brandon takes it in, but he's watching his eyes. He nods gratefully, but his eyes are still both on the two kids. You see Tax is holding the bread in her hands as she slowly like puts the berry in her mouth, and then she just smells it and before starting to eat it, and very slowly, and it seems like she's savoring every bite.
There's
Dusty kind
plenty
of
more where that came from, dearie.
Dusty
You can go ahead and eat it fast if you want.
he's like sits up against the wall and he just kind of watches her and sits there.
Oh, she scooches over to your leg and she's got like one arm wrapped around your leg as she's like eating the bread.
Good. He said he'll say everything's gonna be all right. We'll get you back to your mother.
She just kind of continues eating and has her one arm wrapped around your leg. You feel like you could just like walk with her on your leg too. Like she's just like wrapped around it.
You'll good. He'll just kind of stand there. If we start leaving, then he'll leave. But otherwise, he's not going to force her to move around.
Has Brandon eaten the berry yet?
Yes, he has. Um, and he looks at you and he says, "Is is the monster dead?"
I can't see that far in the darkness, but I'm pretty sure yes.
Yeah, we killed it.
That's a relief. Thank you for what you did.
Wasn't. And she just stops because she doesn't know what to say, because I don't know what to say.
He just kind of leaves it at that.
Looks like you've had a rough time down here.
Yes, it was. I can't imagine what these two've gone through. I've only been here the one night. Being dragged down underground by tentacle. Not even really
Yes.
knowing what was happening.
Makes sense. Kind of.
Anything else you guys want to do? Nuri? Yes, you were casting a spell.
Brandon. Yeah, I cast
Oh, you already
that a while
cast it,
ago.
gentle light. Okay,
The dwarf, the body's fine.
that's right.
At this point, I'm gonna just come up to Brandon. Brandon, just quick question. Do you remember that elf getting eaten? That half elf? Do you remember anything, or is it just like, whoa, there's a body? Do you remember her? Talk to her? See her get grabbed? Anything? She's taken the same night, so
He kind of like rubs his forehead and rubs his temples a little bit. He says, "It's all patchy, but bits and pieces are kind of coming back. I do remember her. She was in the pen with us. Yes, she was actually throwing herself in front of all three of us. And when that beast got hungry, it took her first."
Well, that would definitely be her. I'm sure of it. Thank you. And just flip into the back and
She seemed like a good person. And you kind of see him shake his kind of thinking. He's like, I feel like I knew her more at the tavern. It's all kind of jumbled in my head. I'm not quite sure.
Amaris is going to go over to the body and see if she can find any family resemblance. Like if there's anything she can tell, just maybe maybe they are siblings or something.
Yeah. You don't have to make any rolls or checks because you look down and she looks very familiar. And um you you have, it seems like bits and pieces of different like fragments of memories are kind of floating back to each person. There's like bits and pieces that are kind of coming back of things that you had forgotten. Um you remember that instead of twins, it was triplets and of your sisters. You remember Dane being the only one that you cared for because she was the only one that treated you with love. You and her were more than sisters. You were best friends. Actually, I don't even, yeah, you were sisters and best friends. Like, I think sisters is definitely, I guess, that connection. You had a tight connection. Um, you you remember the night that you were leaving. You remember her coming up to you, trying to convince you to stay. You remember actually getting in a fight with her, an argument. Um, and finally she said that she let you go. But as you were leaving, she came up right behind you with a pack of her own, saying she wasn't going to let you go.
Guys, we need to find a way to bring her back.
Do we hear
we'll
that?
find a
Is
way,
there
Amaris.
enough?
We have some time.
I don't. I'm all the way in the corner with sheep.
Bah!
Having, Douse is having his own internal conflict at the moment with sheep trying to eat at him or drink at him. He's preoccupied.
Wait, does this mean if we were in a desert and all dying of thirst, Douse could keep us all alive?
I
I'm not
mean,
saying
Cannibalism, let's go.
I have other means of doing that, but yes.
I'm
Let's do
not
the
saying they're
Aragon
actually
trick
like
where he
drink.
brings up the water.
Yeah, right. And it's not like they're actually like eating him. They're just like licking him because he looks like water.
Look like water, not to mention I had water whips about me a little bit ago.
So, Amaris, you're still kneeling over Dane. Was there anything you wanted to do?
I don't think at this point there's much she can do.
I mean, we're
Understand?
obviously bringing the body with us, but just making sure that's noon.
help me?
Okay. Alrighty, so are you guys content with leaving the cavern? Or well, Douse, you have all of the sheep still trying to lick at you.
Yeah. He's gonna come up, not being a part of any of this, and just be booking it past people. Make way! Ah! Running away from sheep.
Destio kind of put his arm up towards like Tax behind him as he hears, well, Douse screaming and running.
Okay, he wouldn't be saying make way. He's just be like, no. He's saying no because he's talking. Doesn't like this, whatnot. But yes.
Nice. So you're running up the hallway past us, is that right?
Yes.
You
And you
past
see
everyone.
you see a trail of sheep following him.
So
Like
Dusty's he like puts up an arm towards Tax, and then he sees the sheep, and he's like, "Oh!" And then he's gonna call out to the sheep. He's like, get back here! I have water if you." And then they just zip past. He's like, we
yeah,
probably should go chase
the sheep
after
are
them."
going. Yeah.
Could have
All right,
used
so
those.
Sorry, there's one thing I would like to do as all of this is happening. How big is the Hydra's ring that it was wearing?
Oh
Bracelet?
yeah, that got broken.
it so it was around one of its like stubby legs. I would say it's about like it's a huge creature. It was enough to fit around its leg. So I'd say probably like 5,
Use it as a hula hoop.
not like a hula hoop. It was around its leg. I'd say
It is broken,
about,
but
I'm trying to think like
I thought.
how thick would the Hydra's leg be?
Oh, it was a big creature.
It was
I
a
might be
big
able to use that.
creature, so maybe it's like maybe like 5 feet in diameter was the ring, but it's all cracked into pieces and on the floor now.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna touch a part of it and quickly. Oh, there's. Then make sure I'm reading this correct. Because if I'm correct, I can do a ritual spell as an action once.
Okay, what are you looking at?
I'm trying. No, where am I looking?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the special perks from my person, being a wizard quill person. I'm trying to see where it was. Either way, even if it takes the full, it'd just be cool if she could do it in an action. She can't. She's still gonna grab a piece to identify it at
Later.
one point or another.
Okay, because it takes 10 minutes
Yeah.
to ritual cast. Okay, so you can find a sizable chunk that's probably about yay big, probably the size of like a head, small head. That's one of the small pieces, small chunks off of it. So you can grab that, and is there anything else you wanted to do with the body of the Hydra, with anything in this room? No? Okay.
As a
I'm sure
player,
this
I
will
want to,
not
but
come-
Merilla wouldn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, the way you said that makes it sound like we really should, but I don't
No.
think. I think we're
Yeah,
more
you guys
focused on getting the P. I mean, it's not moving anymore. We're pretty sure it's dead.
Alrighty.
Merilla only barely saw the purple bracelet, the false Hydra's bracelet.
Mm-hmm. It's bling, it's flare, you know?
If she does remember about anything curious, it would be like way later because she's very occupied with Brandon and the kids. So sorry.
Yeah. No, you're totally fine. Like, I was just asking. Okay, so happens is pretty much you guys travel and traverse through the. Oh my gosh, Douse, you got far.
I didn't know how far you were gonna let me go, so I stopped. But he's booking it. His goal is the entrance.
Entrance, yeah. Okay, so you guys start booking it towards the entrance. You guys do end up, as we mentioned last session, you guys go back into that room that has all of the chests in it. You do find out that one of the chests is a mimic. And you guys actually fell and defeated the mimic. We're just gonna like skip through that one. Um, so you guys actually ended up collecting a lot of different items that were in that room. Among them being you have a total of how many potions? 1, 2,
6 was it?
6. Yeah, 6 potions. You have a total of 6 potions, and then you found a lot of various items that we talked about last session. You got a ring, a quiver, a rod, some goggles, a glide, like a glowing kind of globe, almost like a little light. You got some boots, an amulet, and a bag. Um, yeah, they all seem to be magical in property. And you guys managed to reach the entrance of the cavern, and you guys are able to make it back to the heart of Dragondale.
It's daytime, right?
Yes. No, it is late evening actually. So not it's there's still a little bit fair amount of light out, but the sun is starting to set a little bit. You probably have about hour and a half to 2 hours of light left.
Oh goodness, the sky, the sky. You know, there were some parts down there where I thought I might never see it again.
It is pretty out. We ought to get Tax home.
Yes, yes.
Can we do something about these sheep too? I mean, they won't stop.
The whole
Keep going,
time
Douse. You're leading them.
is-
They'll follow you.
I assume they belong to the old man.
Yeah, take it back to
Ooh.
Gerald. Maybe he'll do something with them.
Dusty
Yes.
he'll kind of like I assume this whole time he's been like holding Tax's hand as they've been walking.
Tax actually ends up like reaching up for you. Um seems to
Oh.
prefer that she wants the piggyback ride that you have given
Yeah,
her in
no,
the past.
he'd totally give that to her. So he just gives her a piggyback ride the whole time. So at this point he'll like walk over towards the sheep and he'll ask them, "So who do you belong to?"
Wait, wasn't it? Ah! I'm so sorry.
Trying to say Gerald with the sheep voice.
Mm,
It cuts you out a little bit when you
it
Yeah.
cuts it out a little bit. Ah!
just a little.
The tall man with the straw hat.
Tall man, straw hat, Gerald. Got it. And he's gonna turn to Douse and he's gonna say, "Yeah, so you can take him to Gerald. He can probably peel them off you. They are his." So
Peel them off you.
Good, because I don't know how much more I can handle this.
yeah, you'll be fine. Just sheep.
You are starting to look a little shorter, Douse.
I
Oh,
The
yeah.
sheep are licking you up. Better run faster.
Oh yeah, he is shorter. Would you look at that?
God! He's just thrown off. He's like, I don't shrink, but he doesn't have time for this because of the sheep.
The sheep are still licking you.
Nice.
Wait,
You.
As a
the
hold on,
boy's
hold on.
not on the sheep, is he?
Oh,
The
were they
boy's
riding the
walking.
sheep?
Is someone riding this sheep?
I
Because
mean,
she doesn't want.
theoretically, if I'm carrying Tax, Dusty's
Yeah.
carrying Tax, one of the sheep is carrying a corpse. The other one is carrying the other child, and
Brandon
then we
should be
got.
walking.
Yeah, Brandon's
I guess
walking. He's
Gerald's getting a
fine.
corpse.
I guess they've got a corpse on top of them.
Hope he
Okay,
slowed down.
This is some order of operations
okay.
shenanigans we've got going
Okay,
on.
hold up. So sheep, they aren't like load-bearing animals. Like,
No, that doesn't make it
How do
funny.
we get the corpse up here then?
so the corpse,
They can carry kid.
yeah, they could probably be carrying the kid. But technically they don't really like carry things, you know? But you could, yeah, we'll feasibly say that the kid is being carried, but someone else would have had to carry the corpse.
But if Dane the NPC is dead, it cannot be uncomfortable for her, right?
Well, I mean, it's not
Wouldn't be.
uncomfortable for her, but it's a matter of if the sheep could lift her.
I know they can do children because of like Megan
Rodeos
said in
and
the chat, the rodeos. I know they can do
Mhm.
children. The kid has to hold on, obviously.
Yeah.
But the body, I guess I would be dragging it.
Just dragging the
I have
body
a strength
behind
of
you.
12.
You probably
Tell
make a
me
zip linked
that-
out of bones or something.
The feet are just
That's
dragging
smarter.
on the dirt behind you, just like you're like, okay, come on.
Yep. Well, there is also the temple in town that should have a cleric. Maybe they can cast some sort of resurrection spell. Temple of Solaris. I could take you there, but I guess he's kind of like tapping his chin. He's like, these things are very time sensitive. Maybe we should split off into groups. A couple of us take the body to the temple. I can make sure Tax gets home. Someone else can come with me, I suppose.
Well,
No, we'll all go back with you to Tax. I extended her time. She's fine.
Okay. And he kind of looks up towards Tax and he says, "Is it all right if we bring, well, the half elf to the temple first?"
she just kind of holds on to you tighter and you just feel like her nodding.
Okay.
She seems a lot like less spoken than she used to be.
Reasonably so. Sometimes you get
Merilla,
trauma.
I couldn't imagine why.
Merilla's gonna note this response and like looking up at her, she's going to say, "You know, for being so small, you're quite the grown-up."
She just she kind of looks over at you and you see like the corners of her mouth just kind of quirk up a little bit. Not like a full smile, but like just kind of like it was a little funny, and then she kind of buries her face into the wrappings around Dusty.
It's all right, dearie. Even old grown-ups are still shy every once in a while.
She doesn't respond other than that.
Right. Well, let's get Dane to the temple then.
Okay. So you guys start heading through town. And first off, you're passing through buildings that have been deserted and, probably people who have been eaten. But you start hearing clamor up ahead. um, as you start like coming forward and getting closer to the temple. You see this temple, very like mesa built structure out of like stone or out of clay. Um, the sheep are still with you. um, as you guys are traveling through. Um, and you see a giant. So, okay. Well, first off, so the temple itself is actually like 2 stories, with kind of all flat buildings. You see that the windows that have been like carved into the clay actually have like these really nice stained glass windows with symbols of the sun and of light and daytime springing through on these stained glass windows. You see there's actually like kind of some steps that lead up to the main like doorway because it's kind of set up on a hill a little bit. Um and on top of there you actually see this priest who is decked out in these white and gold robes, kind of more white with some like a gold like sash around him. Let me pull up my notes real quick. And he's actually like he's facing towards a large crowd of people who are all like shouting, and they're like, and it seems like there's this whole clamor, this whole thing. You see a couple people that are like kneeling at the steps that are like praying. You see a couple people that are like shouting. It's more, it's not so much that they're like all clamored in front of the temple to be talking to him. There's definitely a fair amount of people trying to like talk to him and ask. They're shouting questions of like, what's going on? Like, what happened? Like, why are people gone and missing? And then there's a whole group of on the other side where the guard captain is, and he's managing a whole bunch of people who are shouting and very fighting, and they're verbally just being like, "Why didn't you protect our people?" And all this stuff. Like, there's this whole fight. You, um, you actually, yes, Marilla.
Can is Mary Brendan's wife in the crowd? Can I like, roll investigation for that or something?
Roll perception.
Perception?
Mhm.
As they walk up to the temple, Amaris is going to be like, is this a bad time?
Well, it would be a struggle for you to get even up to the front because there's just this huge crowd of people. It's kind of like in a big open area in the town. Um, so there's like a lot of other like shops around too. So there's just a whole bunch of people in this area, and right up in front of the temple, it's very packed.
So Merilla got 23.
Like people are starting to remember their loved
23?
ones.
Okay. You notice Mary actually to be one of the people who's praying right in front of the steps.
She's gonna grab Brendan's sleeve and start dragging him. I see your wife. Let's go.
You don't even need to grab you. So what you do is you grab his sleeve and you say that to him, and his head just like snaps to you for a second, and then he looks over. He's like scanning the crowd.
She's over by the steps. Let's go. She's like in the front.
And he goes, Mary! And he shouts that out. And he starts booking it towards her. And she just
People look towards us. Called out.
There are a couple people who like turn their heads and they're kind of like confused, but then they go back to like what they're doing. And then you see Brandon run up as Mary turns around, just like tears in her eyes. And she manages to get to her feet right as Brandon goes, and he grabs her and he picks her up and he swings her around. And she just is like cry laughing. And there's lots of kisses shared. Not like scandalous, but like pecks and stuff. Um, and then afterwards, they're just like holding each other for like a long time. Also at this time, you
Merilla just stands there and stares the whole time with this just kind of like, oh lady smile.
And as that happens, you see brushing past Mary and Brandon, kind of like shouldering them. They pay no heed. You see Gerald pull off his hat and he looks at his sheep.
I go to Gerald. I'm like, Gerald, save me.
He scrunches up his hat in his fist and he runs over to his sheep and they come running over. And he grabs his sheep.
Wow.
The real romance.
Yes.
That was the real reason we did all this. Was it for tax? No.
No.
It was no reason. It was just Gerald the whole time.
Old men are fun and important, okay? Cool. It's all good.
Do you want an old man for your Merilla?
That is the weirdest question I think I've ever heard you ask. We got to find one for her.
Find an old man.
That's future quests. Future quests. We'll put a
Future
pin on the map.
quest.
Maybe you should ask her.
Anyways.
Okay. So Gerald
Very
happily
important, yes.
comes,
Gerald and his
happily
sheep.
comes over and he takes his sheep. Not quite as dramatic as I played it up to be, but he comes over and he claps you on the shoulder, Douse, and he says, "Thank you. Oh, miss my sheep. I can't believe I've
They're-
lost about like 25 of them at this point."
That's a lot. But they're all yours.
Yeah.
I'll slip under his arm and behind him and put him between me and the sheep.
The sheep seem to pay you no heed anymore, as they just are coming up to Gerald, and Gerald's like, "Yeah, I forgot I even had them," and and then he grabs his sheep and he's like, "All right, come little ones, let's get back to the farm," and then and they just start following him because they know who
Just
their
don't
shepherd
don't
is.
forget about them again. They missed you. And
Merilla watches them leave with the same old lady smile.
Oh, cute. I think Douse is going to be having some PTSD from this.
just minor PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay, is anyone else coming out through the crowd?
No, everyone seems to be kind of like, it's just chaos right now.
Okay, so then at that point, Amaris is gonna try and like weave her way through the crowd to get to the front, like looking for the best footing, almost like almost like she's dancing through the crowd to get up to the front.
Okay. Yeah, you can start weaving through the crowd and you're able to make your way up to the steps where the priest guy is up there trying to like calm people down. He's like, "This we'll find some answers, I'm sure."
Okay, once she gets up to the front, she's gonna like wave up to the priest and just be like, "Sir, please, we need help." Like she looks very desperate.
And he goes, "Yes, my child. There's a lot of people who need help right now. If you could just give us a few moments, we're trying to help a lot of people." And someone starts shouting like, "Where's my kid?" And he's like, "Yes, we don't know. Memories are just coming back randomly." And he seems a little preoccupied and kind of dismisses you.
Oh, she's not happy about that.
How
This
are
can
people
only-
reacting to Nuri dragging this dead body through the crowd?
I know.
Oh, I thought it was only Amaris who went through. I thought you guys were still in the outskirts of the crowd.
I'm gonna
I
at this
was,
point I'm gonna be pushing
'cause I was looking
through
for
the
Gerald.
crowd.
Okay. So who's
I was
going
thinking we
through
were
the
like in the
crowd?
middle. Anyway,
Marilla, the little boy that was riding the sheep comes up to you and he just reaches for your hand.
Merilla lets him.
Okay, he's holding on to your hand.
You'll be all right, little boy. Tell me, what do your parents look like?
He points at himself.
Adopted.
Very helpful.
Okay, real quick, Emily, high or low?
Yeah. Hi.
Oops. Ooh, okay. So Amaris is not happy with just being brushed off.
Ooh.
So she is going to cast dancing lights,
Oh,
and she's going to cause it to like go up in the air a bit, and it creates like 4 orbs of light. But what she's going to do, these 4 orbs of light go up into the air, combine, and then just like send out a huge flash just to get everyone to shut up.
This is gonna go over well.
Except for the one blind guy who doesn't see any of it.
Yeah, the blind guy, he doesn't see anything. It's okay.
High or low, Amaris?
Low.
This is depending on this roll, a mob starts. So
Or a flash mob.
Wow.
Hey.
Wow.
everyone just starts dancing. That's what it was. A mob or a flash
That's
mob.
what they do, is they just start dancing. No, so as you do that, the orbs come dashing up into the sky, and they are you doing this like over the crowd?
Yeah, like kind of like above, in between the crowd and the people at the temple. So it's just kind of like in between.
Okay.
Aren't those the same thing?
Well, no, the like the cleric and all that.
Oh, you're doing
Those
it
who
above
work
like
yeah, that makes
the
sense.
ones
Okay.
that are involved in the cleric right now.
Yeah, just
So-
kind of above everyone.
Okay, so the lights come swirling around, and they come bursting out and burst out this array of color across, and everyone just kind of like falls silent for just a moment before all panic ensues. And people start freaking out. They're shouting, "Magic! Someone's casting! They're gonna steal my memories!"
You've cut out.
You cut
You're,
out
you're
one more
too
time.
high pitched. Go
Sorry,
lower.
I'm a
Oh,
little
wait, never
high
mind.
pitched.
That is on my end.
So they start screaming. They're like, "Magic! Someone's casting magic! Um, they're gonna steal our memories again." So people are like freaking out, trampling others. Like it's not good. There's a lot of panic.
So Dusty's in the back. He's gonna kind of like back up out of this crowd as they're starting to like run around to try and keep Tex safe.
Yeah, Tax is kind of squeezing onto your wrappings just like a lot tighter.
Merilla is doing the same with the boy and also trying to like drag Brandon and Mary away. Like, it's maybe we shouldn't stay here. Looks
Yeah.
rather unsafe.
Okay, so you do that, and Mary and Brandon come with you. Off to the side, they're like his arm is still wrapped around her, and her arm is wrapped around him. So they're like still like holding each other as they're walking. And they kind of get to the side of the wall, so you're able to be safe, kind of like on the edge of the walls of the temple. As people are kind of panicking, and then and the guards start shouting. They're like, "Everyone, calm down." What was the dude's name? I wrote it down. It was Varian. You see Varian. He holds up his sword, and he's like, "Everyone, calm down right now." And everyone kind of like seems to stop a little bit. He goes, actually, let's see if he does recognize that. Okay. He goes, "Everyone, calm down." People seem to stop moving, and then they kind of quiet down a little bit. And he goes, "I know you're all scared, okay?" He lowers his sword, and he puts it down. He goes, "But that was literally just dancing lights. We all know that is a simple cantrip. It is fine. It's fine. I'm sure that was just trying to get us to shut up. So, everyone calm down. We're going to figure this thing out." We had a couple friends that were on the case. You actually see that Echo and Val actually have kind of are behind him. So you can actually notice that it seems like they have spoken to him at this point. He goes, everything will be explained at a later moment. Everyone right now, go home, calm down, get a drink at the tavern. I don't care, but calm your freak down and leave. And everyone kind of like, you just see this like silence and irritation almost sparkle through the crowd, but then slowly they start dispersing.
You'll hear Douse's voice coming from nowhere because he's so short, no one sees him, but just shouting out, "That sounds like a wonderful idea!" He's gonna like,
and
'cause he's
you
beaten, he's battered, he just got a fight. He got rid of the sheep. So, okay, let's recuperate and take care of some stuff.
sorry, I don't know what's going on. 1 second.
Okay, so then as that's happening, Merilla is going to look up at Mary and Brandon that are nearby her, because you remember we like all moved away to the side. Exactly. She's like, well,
Sorry, my roommate left her phone out, and that was an alarm to go to work, and she is in the shower. So,
we didn't even hear it.
Yeah.
oh, okay, you didn't hear it? Thank
No.
goodness.
Oh, that's
Alrighty.
cool. Anyway, so Merilla was
it
just
was
about to
playing a
address
good
Mary and
song.
Brandon off to the side. She like looks up to them. She says, well, if the loud captain of the guard says everyone should maybe go to the tavern, I guess that means goodbye?
You see, Mary and Brandon, they're still just like looking at each other and like holding hands as if like it's just a dream. Um,
But perhaps maybe not. Never mind. Stay there.
Mary kind of like she looks back at you and she's, oh, yes, we should probably get that going. And she just kind of like is still like with Brandon, and Brandon just kind of was like, we'll get going in a minute.
No, I mean, it was just a thought. Take your time. Stay there.
You feel a tug on your hand.
Oh, yes, little boy. What is your name?
Vic. Vic.
Vic?
And he points in the crowd, and he goes, Dad! And he starts running into the crowd. Just let's go. Are you letting go, or are you like following after?
Oh, I was thinking he let go and then he was running.
Yeah. So he lets go and he goes running. You see the dad kind of turn around, and he's like, Vic! And there's a cute little warm embrace. It's adorable.
Marilla watches them and she goes, oh, lady smile.
Oh, lady smiles. And Vic just like is hugging his dad. And his dad just kind of like ruffles his hair and kind of holding his little boy as they start to walk home, just him and his dad. And you see over his shoulder that the kid is like, being held by his dad, and he's looking over his shoulder at you, and he just waves.
He does look an awful lot like his dad. No wonder that was his explanation.
Mm-hmm. He basically looks like a mini version of his dad. Alrighty. So now the area is starting to clear up. The priest dude kind of is like sighing as a couple other people are like talking to him, but they end up dispersing. A couple people who were still like praying, they end up leaving. And he kind of like picks a couple of them up and he's like, it's all right, return home. And Amaris.
Amaris just like takes a moment to calm down from that outburst. And she turns back to the priest and is just like, please, sir, it's my sister. I need your help.
Yes, yes, child. How can I help you?
Amaris turns back to Nuri.
I imagine I probably reached the front of the temple at this point with a dead body.
Yeah, and he goes, bring her inside. Is she he just kind of is like, "Oh," and he starts to open up the doors to the temple. These and you see that inside it's actually very nice and very cool, like nice and cold in this area. Um and the flooring is this beautiful decorative like white and gold tile. Um and you actually see that there is a fountain kind of in the center of the main room here with like just like water bursting up and falling and cascading down out of this beautifully designed like opal fountain that kind of looks like in the shape of like a sun. You see that he goes through this side room and he's beckoning you into this side room where it looks like um there's like one guy sitting on one of the cots in this room. It's a room full of cots. And there's one guy that's sitting on the cot of this room, kind of like holding onto his wrist. And it seems to be there's another like young woman in there who's tending to it with like a little cure wounds. Um, as you kind of come in, he beckons you in to and beckons you to leave, put her on one of the cots.
Emily, high or low?
Mhm.
I'm not actually technically inside, but high or low
Mhm.
whether he follows.
Low.
Okay. He's actually going to stay outside of the temple and kind of stick with whoever else is outside.
Okay.
Douse would probably be out there like, hey, should we take care of Tax?
I think they wanted to come when we brought her back to her family. If that's all right with you, Tax. And
Yeah, fine. That's fine. That's
he like turns up towards her.
Oh,
She just
nothing.
nods.
Yep.
All right. All right. I'll just sit down on the stairs.
Okay. Alrighty. Um, so who all is going inside? Okay, so just Nuri and Amaris. Okay.
Marilla's too lazy to go all the way to the doors.
We're all
Also-
sitting on the stairs.
She's tired.
Just want to admire the fact that this entire time Nuri has been dragging the dead bodies through the
Yes.
caves
It's
over
like
bone
mangled
piles.
too. It's not a pretty corpse. Like
It's Nuri's hidden
That's true.
strength because she did
And-
make that scratch in Novak's dagger.
I did, but the fact is, no one offered to help.
I said Amaris helps you.
Oh, you did? I didn't. Okay, there's been two people dragging the body. Okay, we're good. Okay, sorry. We're in the temple. Sorry.
Okay, you're fine. So you both work on carrying her in. You carry Dane in and you set her down on one of the cots. And pretty much I have to pull up the details on the spell here real quick. Okay, if my little tablet will work. Hates me. But basically I know
Nonchalant.
I
Sorry.
know it happens quite a bit. So, oh, are you kidding me? It literally just gave me the option and I accidentally turned the screen off. So, let me just pull this up real quick. So, while you guys are setting her on the bed, her arm just hangs limply down. Um, Okay. The priest kind of goes over and he says, he's like, she's dead. How long ago did she die?
We don't know. We found the
Didn't it
monster
last
that was
24 hours?
yeah, we found the monster that was causing all this, and she was down there like this.
It's been within at least 24 hours, however. That
Okay.
helps. And I did cast the spell on her, so she slowed her decaying process as well.
Okay. He says, "All right, but you discovered the monster that did this, the memory eating demon."
Yes.
Okay, well, once we deal with this, I will have to ask more. Um, this this will be difficult. It's about takes an hour to resurrect someone. I it also does cost quite pretty penny in order to
I'm
do
going to
this.
lean forwards and like, a pretty penny for the people who literally just saved your city. The demon thing you're talking about, we killed that. The only reason you even know anyone's missing out of this town is because of us, and you're gonna charge us for one person who died down there? I'm
Nuri!
sorry.
To be fair, a lot of people have died.
To be fair, none of their bodies are around to be resurrected. Hers is.
Amaris is just gonna like slap her hand over or Nuri's mouth. And it's just like, I'm sorry.
It's all right, my child. Times we still have to pay the price for this resurrection. Diamonds are very difficult. Materials are becoming more rare. It's difficult to provide any of the resources to be able to resurrect someone. We have only one diamond here in our temple. And we
Hold
haven't
on,
been able
Emily.
to.
I'm going to send you a private message real quick just
Oh,
to see
yes.
something.
Okay.
I have so much I wanted to say, but my mouth is covered.
Your mouth is covered. You are silenced.
Are we supposed to ask permission to send private messages? Because I tend to do that.
No, you don't have to.
She's
Okay,
just letting her
okay.
know.
Yeah, just send me private messages whenever. And sometimes I'll send you guys messages and stuff.
So, question for you, Emily.
Yes.
So Merilla would know. I know Marilla's not there, but Merilla would know where diamonds in the country of, or the world landmass of Columber mostly come from, right? Like in our world, diamonds mainly or are more prominent in
Yes.
Africa.
Hmm. You would know that they're more prominent in the Sleeburg Empire up in the mountains. That's where a lot of like the gemstones come from.
Okay.
I do have to respond to this message real quick. Um, there are a few like people who deal in like gem trades and stuff like that, but most of them get their resources from the Sleeburg Empire.
Excellent, Duncan.
Actually, here. Do you want me to just answer you out loud, Megan, or
Sure.
Okay. Because I was like typing out this whole long thing, and then I was like, it might just be easier to say it loud. So you wouldn't have any on you, especially in the way that, like, under the circumstances that you left. And from what you know, the Leodon shipping or trading company, they trade in more like rare materials, like, per se, like, rare materials for potions and spells. Gemstones are generally stuff that you would get from the Sleeburg Empire, so the Leodon Trading Company doesn't really trade in gems very often. Um, their goods come from a very particular place, which I will whisper that one to you. Um,
I know what that place is, right?
yes, you'd know what that
Yeah,
place is
okay.
too. So, I think I've already told
okay, yeah.
you. Yeah,
Well,
so
I
pretty
know what that
much.
part is. I just clear. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's mostly like minerals and materials that come from that area that I just messaged you about. So they don't really deal so much in like the rare gems trade, which more people in the Sleeburg Empire would have access to.
Okay.
Okay. Alrighty. And so that would be it. Um, so yeah, so you plant your hand over Nuri's mouth, and he says, I we only have the one gem, and resources are rapidly vanishing in this world, and if you were able to pay the price, then we could use it in this instance.
How much is it?
1,000 gold pieces.
Sell your kidneys. Sell them.
I can pull the hand down. But so just to be clear, you don't get any discount for saving your city, or 2 children, or the bartender's husband, or the old man's sheep. You don't get anything for that. Or bringing back the city's memories. Nothing. Nada. To bring back
Saving
one
your
soul?
life.
To be fair, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, I have
Also,
notes. Would you like to read them?
I am just a cleric in this city of the Temple of Solaris. I am doing my due diligence as the priest of this temple, and Solaris does not provide discounts on his rituals, his holy rituals. Do you want a half-baked, half-alive person?
Better than no
She
life
started
person.
writing. She started writing in her notebook.
Hold on, Sierra.
He's so lucky
You
Merilla's
know I was.
If you want to pay half price, I'll give you a
Yes,
half-alive person. How about that? I can do that if you wanted.
Sierra, high or low? I don't think I heard it. High.
Just another name on the hit list. She writes. That's the first thing that came to my head.
Okay. So you notice Amaris like fidget with her hands for a bit. And then she holds something out to the priest and says, "How about this?" And she holds out her ring.
The ring that was given to you by your
Ring
father?
Douse. Yeah.
Okay. He says this is a very fine ring, but it wouldn't cover the price, unfortunately. It would get you about halfway.
So we only need 500 more gold then?
With this, yes. Or
Well,
we can try it this way. Only part of her could come back. Possibly. That is if the merit of
I
Solaris is there.
I may have a plan B.
You say that out loud?
I'm gonna say it quietly to Nuri.
Because he kind of like looks at the ring. He says, "I'll like pretty much like just out of good graces, he'll say the ring is worth half, but like even then, this ring would probably only be worth like 200 gold pieces. So like that in and of itself is like giving you guys a discount.
So many things I want to say. Okay. Does he actually tell us that he's like giving us a discount to the 200 ring? Or is that something that Megan knows that it's not worth the 500?
Well, you can tell that he like when he looks at it, like he sees that it's not worth like as much as he's offering it for. Um, he says we don't give discounts, but I will let this count for half.
And then also like under my breath, I'm just gonna go, don't give discount, like give a discount.
Do you not want it? I will take it away.
No, she mumbles it to herself.
Okay.
Let
Oh
it
yeah,
for the audience to
Okay.
hear, but not even else.
but no,
So-
when you mumble, he
So
doesn't have bad hearing.
so Amaris thinks this through a bit. She's gonna turn to Nuri and just be like, I'll be right back. Don't do anything stupid, and then walks out. And as she walks out to the rest of the group, she goes up to Merilla and asks if she can borrow her lute.
You want to borrow my lute, Mars? Are you going to sing?
In a way, yes.
Well, even if it's since it's you, even if it's just in a way, it's sure to be beautiful. And she hands it to you.
Thanks. She takes
Where
the lute
are you
and then
going with it?
to the tavern and then just leaves.
Oh, well, isn't that where you're going? And then she like looks to Brandon and Mary.
Oh yeah,
I thought they
they've at
left.
this
They're
point,
still
yeah, they
there?
left. No,
Oh,
they left.
damn.
At
Okay,
this
Okay, they
point.
left.
That was really loud. Sorry.
No, you're good. At this point, they've left. So
Cool. And Marilla's gonna follow Amaris to the tavern.
okay.
Um,
Dusty's just very confused. 3 went in, 1 came out. He doesn't know what kind of shenanigans went on in there.
Oh, you're not going to want to miss Amaris singing. I'm pretty sure. Shoot, Tax
Shoot,
would enjoy it too. It'll do good. Do good for her spirits.
I mean, what about Nuri? Is she still in there?
Nuri
What
is
about
fully capable. She's younger than I am. Come
What
on.
about Dane? Is Dane like? Did the resurrection go well? Like,
we're figuring that out as she just keeps going.
it
Looks at
doesn't
Amaris.
make
Looks at Dane. Follows Amaris.
doesn't
Not
make
Dane.
any
Sorry,
s-
Dusty.
She's just like, okay.
All these D names.
What did we do with this campaign?
I don't even know what's going on.
So, higher
Daphne.
low, higher low.
Me?
To Amaris.
Hi.
Okay, Dusty's gonna go. Okay, well, I guess I'll stay here with Nuri then, and he's gonna like stand up, and he's gonna kind of walk towards the temple. He's gonna walk inside.
Okay.
Oh, also, who has the magic items? We haven't technically distributed them.
I don't think I was close enough to grab any of them.
I'd probably say Merilla, she has the potions.
Oh, I just have the one potion from Dane's backpack.
I mean, I'd
On
be
the one, I thought you
happy
had
to carry him. I'd be more than happy.
I think this is
Also,
something we didn't cover because we were fast forwarding through the mimic scenario.
if you want, I'll say that Val and Echo carried them out, and they're just going to leave all the items in your rooms at the inn.
Okay. Yeah, Dusty will still go inside the temple.
Okay. And then they have that heartfelt, like, goodbye that we role played out last session, and Val and Echo are gone. Okay.
Nuri
So-
comes out of the temple to give the heartfelt goodbye and then runs back in. You silly priest.
Technically, that yeah. Time
So
skipping stuff. It's confusing.
The goodbye will
Okay.
happen later. Okay.
Time travel.
So Dusty, you enter into the temple. You see that there's this beautiful fountain, this beautiful tiled floor, and these um stained glass windows as well. You can kind of see one of the side doors open, and you can hear voices in there. Sounds like Nuri.
Dusty will go up to the door and kind of peek his head in, and as he does, Tack's head also peeks in.
Yep.
Like he sees Nuri, he's like, is everything going okay in here? Amaris kind of stormed off. Well, she got Merilla's loot. I think I have no idea where they're going, but is everything okay in here? he reiterates.
Real quick, DM, what temple is my son at? Is he at a Solaris temple?
That is a good question. Let me look at this.
Bum, bum, bum. The Lord!
Just need to know how much anger am I holding back?
This is some deep stuff we got going on.
Valid. I am so excited.
My notes page is refreshing. This is really sad. Okay, come on.
Well,
Let's go.
either way, while
Yes.
you're looking at that, Dusty, when you poke your head in, you can see that Nuri is just livid. She's on the verge of having an outburst. She has her book. You can see she's like scribbled a couple things once in a while, just like.
It's a death
Real
note.
fast. See, that's what I was thinking.
Come back for this guy.
So it is a temple of Solaris that Ami is being held at.
Oh, even better. Does that change what Dusty sees when he peeks in?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't.
So Dusty's he's gonna see you. He's like, is everything okay? And then he like sees how frustrated you are, and then he like walks in. And he's like, no, seriously. He's like, what's going on?
Oh, Dusty! Can you believe it? They won't take mercy on anyone who helps their you.
You're
Sorry,
cutting out a
you
little bit.
yeah, you cut out.
The last two parts
Get out.
cut out. completely.
So mad right now. Okay, you can imagine just being like really high pitched, super sarcastic as she's like, "Oh, Dusty, can you believe it? They don't." Without saying discount, she's like, "They don't favor anyone who's helped save their city. They're so fair. It's heartwarming."
This Dusty kind of walks in. He sees the priest too. He's just like, he just kind of waves. He's like, I'm with them. I'm one of their friends.
He kind of raises his hand. He says, "There also is no literal proof that you saved anything. Like, stop getting mad at me. Yes, I get you have a bunch of notes, but that doesn't mean that anyone can just write. Everyone can write, okay? Well, some people can't, but a lot of people can just
And
write
that's
a whole
just the
bunch of stuff
chunk I
down."
took from the beast.
So
It
Well,
was
you
like big
didn't-
chunk of a ring.
He's like,
to the
"What?
blood
That
on
big
my arm."
that big rock?"
so
He's like, "You realize that there's no substantial proof or anything. You're just saying these things and getting upset with me when I'm trying to go by temple protocol.
He's just kind of going back and forth. He's like, so what exactly is the issue here? I suppose it has to do with the cost.
Yes, the cost for the full resurrection spell is 1,000 gold pieces, because it's tight on being able to have our resources here because resources are disappearing.
It's when Dusty just brings out money. He's like, poof, yeah.
So he pulls out 1,000 gold pieces for
Yes, Dusty the hermit
the
pulls
money
out
bags,
1,000
man.
gold.
So Dusty's just gonna be like, don't we get some kind of a commission from the guild for completing the quest? He says to Nuri.
Oh, I'm sure, but there's travel time that goes against, coming back.
Yeah.
Just literally, there's a giant Hydra body below your city that we have literally slain.
Dusty's just
What
kind of
proof
gonna.
do you want?
Dusty just kind of shrugs. He's like, I mean, if it's worth anything, we did slay the Hydra. I mean, he kind of like looks up towards Tax, like he tilts his head up a little bit, and he's like, yeah, and we did save a couple people. And he just kind of shrugs. It's like, I don't know. I guess we'll have to get the money somehow. Is it's like, I don't know. It's casting, spell casting. It can be frustrating at times, I suppose. But I totally understand why you're upset. It's pretty frustrating, especially because the person is so close to you guys. I'm sorry.
Hello, Dusty.
I knew it. I knew it. All right. Let's go with hi.
I still look super mad and frustrated. And it literally looks like I am holding back a whole bunch of statements that I could make. And I'm just like, I'll be in the corner. I'm gonna go to the corner. I'm gonna sit down. I have my notebook out. I'm gonna start writing it. She still looks super mad, but she's holding back anger.
He nods, and he's like, thank you. And then he's just kind of gonna be like, he turns to the priest and he says, I'm sure we'll find a way to get the money. In the meantime, I suppose we could stay here. We have a couple of other members of our party who are working on it.
All right. Well, Waddy can't stay here for an extended period of time. But by all means you can wait the afternoon here. Night is coming on. You you see the farmer that's on the cot by the door that's like right by you, Dusty. He was like seems like his wrist is like finished healing, and he stands up, and the other cleric kind of like waves him off, and he hands a couple coins to her. And then he he like comes past you, and he kind of like throws his thumb over, points at Nuri, and he's like, Man, your girlfriend's really riled up. And she just walks out the door.
Super married.
Dusty just kind of shakes his head. Good.
He's
I
already
don't know what to
gone.
say.
Super
No, the
married.
fact that Tax also heard that too.
Yeah, Tax heard this as well. Tax has been here the whole time. Yeah.
Forgot Jack's on you. She just kind of like quirks her head a little bit and kind of like squeezes your arm in like curiosity.
Dusty's just like, no, she's married.
You kind of can like feel her like kind of like silently laughing a little bit as she's like on the like holding on to you.
It's
Um
just like, so I guess Dusty will just kind of sit and wait for a bit.
okay, where is Douse in all of this? And Merilla. Or Merilla went with Amar, so where is Douse?
Dow stayed up front. He's contemplating how he's going to address the rest of the group a little bit later.
I see. Alrighty.
With the whole him losing his own memory and having to be saved and all that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So while you are, before we go to Amaris and Marilla real quick, Dusty, Pax kind of, like squeezes onto your shoulder and, she like kind of like leans over and like whispers into the cloth nearby where your ear would be. Um, I mean, well, your ear is, but it's just all covered in like cloth. So she's
Dusty
like,
doesn't have an ear?
The
what?
Lord! The Lord!
No, no, because it's all covered in cloth and stuff. And she she just goes, "Is that blue guy next?" Sorry, that wasn't Tax's voice. Is that the blue guy who was with us earlier? Is that the mean dude you were telling me about forever ago?
Kind of chuckles. Says, yeah.
But he's nice.
Yeah.
The sheep liked him.
Yeah, they did.
It was not a mutual connection with that sheep.
Oh no, he's better now.
Hmm.
It was just a silly thing.
He's a funny guy.
That's one word to describe him, yeah.
He was funny running from the sheep.
I suppose so, yeah. They just wanted water. You could pull out a water skin at any point and probably would have been fine, but it's fine. Yeah, I wasn't.
He's already used all of his water for headphones.
Wait, so Dusty, did you say that out loud?
Yeah, no, that's what he said. Sir.
So are you saying that he was dumb?
Everyone's dumb sometimes, Tack.
Mm-hmm. And then she whispers, like that priest dude is right now.
He kind of looks up at the priest. Does it look like he heard her?
The priest kind of looks over and he's like, oh, I need to go pray. And he walks out the door.
I need to pray.
Dusty says, "No, he's just doing his job, doing his best. There's a difference between being stupid and doing your best. It's a little bit complicated."
Well, then I'm sure the mean guy was just doing his best.
Yeah.
Douse, we love you.
Thank you. He doesn't hear any of this.
Not a word.
The lore, right? The question is it what is the balance between being stupid and doing your best?
Does
Okay,
the thought really count?
does the thought really count, right? All right, now we're going to shift over to Amaris. Hello, and Merilla.
Okay, so Amaris goes over to the tavern and just looks inside to see how many people are in there.
There seem to be like a handful of people in the tavern. Let me see if I can put you guys at the tavern. Alrighty, we'll just delete. Well, okay. I'll just put so you guys can just like watch if you want. But you're not actually there.
We're her audience in spirit.
In spirit, you guys are there, right? Who knows? Maybe the water will come from Douse and start snaking in and listening in on the music, start like vibing.
It's like a long
Or
tentacle
whatever
of
is
water
going to happen.
stretching across the entire city.
Exactly, just to go listen. Let me pull up Brandon's token.
Brendan!
He's back,
Yeah.
baby.
He's back.
Hey.
Where is he? Where is he? Where is Brandon? Man, I have way too many tokens. Brandon. There you are. Brandon. Okay. They are working together. You actually see there's like there's a good handful of a good chunk of like people kind of in here. Like at the up at the counters and the tables and stuff like that. Mostly near the bar, drinking, you know. Um, there's a little bit of light music going on from the tiefling bard who was just like playing some like soft violinist music. Um, and it seems like it's really cute because you get to see Brandon and Mary back at it again, where she just goes, "Find the veil," and reaches her hand back, and he's already got it right there next to her, doing their cute little like dance in the little bar area. Alrighty.
Right. So this should be a good amount of people to do this with. Amaris is going to go up to the counter and just be like, Mary, a quick question, please.
Yeah, of course.
How much would you be willing to pay me to play?
Well, I mean, we kind of don't really have any paid entertainers. The bard over there, he actually does it for free, and he just gets paid by tips that people give him. We don't really have much in an account of money.
High or low?
Hi.
I just gotta get my other dice out.
Marilla's
These
just
dice
watching
are just-
silently from
These
behind.
dice are
like,
just
She's trying to pick up a job,
these dice
basically.
are- Amaris is just gonna be like there might be something that, like, just a glimpse of an expression change on her face, but she like quickly goes back to the to just kind of like happy and just be like, that's quite all right, thank you, and then she like turns to leave.
Oh, okay. Mary she kind of frowns a little bit, and uh someone else calls her name, and she kind of shakes, and she begrudgingly wrenches her sight away from you to go and tend to the customer.
And with that, Amaris is going to look for somewhere else with more people.
Amaris,
Yes.
what was that about? Are you in need of money?
It's okay. I'll find something. And she keeps going.
Well, I'm very used to these sorts of things, and pay for talent type enterprises. If we find a town square, you could probably perform there. That might be the best spot, since people usually congregate in those kinds of places. Or a market square.
Yeah. Let's go take a look.
Yes, and Merilla's going to literally like look at the closest person and hello them. Hello, you there?
You see this guy with short dark brown or dark black hair, kind of wearing like a nicer tunic and breeches. And yes. Yes.
Yes, you nice, well-dressed sir. Can you tell us where people usually congregate in this town, other than the temple?
Well, the temple was kind of just a simple thing that was happening earlier today. Well, not very simple. Everyone was in cahoots. Um, well, usually people congregate here at the tavern. Sometimes the town square gets busy enough with people, but not very often, especially not this late at night. Because the sun is like about 30 minutes from setting. Most people are home.
I forgot about that. Hmm. And then thank you very much, kind sir. And she's gonna return her attention to Amaris. We might have to try tomorrow. Unless you want to go back to the tavern and try for tips.
We don't have time. And she just keeps going.
Okay.
Merilla follows.
You exit out. Are you heading back towards the temple?
Amaris is going to scour the town for like any signs of large groups of people.
Unfortunately, you're gonna find no one, like no large groups of people, because most people have gone to their homes as per the captain of the guard's orders and direction. Um, so there's not really gonna be any people out, especially as it is getting darker in the evening. The town is uneerily like quiet. Or I guess not uneerily, but eerily quiet. It seems you actually, as you're walking, you hear like a lot of like, you can hear some crying in some buildings. You can hear um, shouts of anger and protest. It seems like this town has been through a lot, and there's a lot of memories returning to a lot of people. Um, Bringing a lot of grief of friends and family members who have been taken by a monster that they had forgotten until now. So you hear like these cries of grief as you pass through the town as the sun starts to set. Um, the town itself seems to be in dire straits, and there are no other people congregating at this time. Um,
Morris,
Yes.
I've been noting your stride and the timbre of your voice and thinking about what's been happening to all of us, but also especially to you and Nuri. I understand that you are in pain, correct?
She nods.
Losing a loved one is a very hard thing. I know. And there's a moment of silence because she's walking a little bit behind you, not quite right beside you. I know because of those I called family, I am the only one left. They've all departed this world. Nothing dire, nothing dramatic. Just time. And it happens to everybody, Amaris. You are in pain, but you have a gift, Amaris. Everyone in this town is going through the same thing. You can hear them, right?
She nods again. Maybe at least I can do this. She like kind of just stops where she is. And she starts playing a melody on the lute. It has like a little bit of like a sorrowful but mystical tune to it. And she starts singing. And like the words to the song, like they have clear intention of bringing hope and peace to the people of this town.
Roll performance.
Oh, please let this be good. Please, 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 please. It's a 14.
14, okay.
Can I assist her?
Oh my
How would
gosh,
you
you're a
assist
bard.
her?
This is a good question. She has my instrument.
You
Okay,
Are
I
you
guess I
doing a
couldn't.
duet?
I would just hum.
could hum, adding
Okay.
like an alternate, like a harmony to it.
It would assist
Um,
her, but no one else would hear it.
yeah. So you can have it assist her. So yeah, roll with advantage.
That's a 23.
Nice. Okay. So for a minute you start to kind of like you're on it's a lute, right? You kind of start to get the strum with the chords, but this also isn't your particular instrument, so you're kind of remembering a couple of strings. It's a little wider of like a neck than you're used to. Um and then Merilla starts to hum and starts to help you get to the notes here on this lute. And as you do that, this melody starts flowing into your mind, and as you start to play and you sing this melody that comes from your heart, comes from your grief and pain, poured into this hauntingly beautiful melody and song. And as it all kind of comes together and wafts out this song around to those who can hear you, you can hear that the sounds of grief and sorrow and pain begin to lessen And it seems as if the town itself begins to listening to this beautiful song of pain and grief that echoes their own woe and misery, that seems to let them know that they are not alone in this pain.
Inspiration.
Gain DM inspiration for that one. So you get that as you play this tune. It almost inspires you, and helps you coping with your own grief that came upon you so suddenly, so clearly. And as you play this song that comes straight from your heart, a memory comes back. And this memory is small and it's simple, but it's of you and Dane as younger kids. Yes, Dane Selch. No. um it's of you and your sister Dane, um out in the fields of these beautiful green fields that almost feel alive. You remember this as your childhood home. Um, that there were flowers of all colors and designs around on this field. You remember sitting in this after particularly cruel torment from your older sisters, uh, your older two sisters, and Dane had come out and sat next to you, didn't say a word, as she just stayed there. And you remember that for quite some time, you both were there together, just sitting and enjoying the breeze, dancing across with the dandelion buds, dancing across the grass, the tall grass you were in. And after quite a bit of time, you remember Dane standing up, dusting off her skirts, and she reached out her hand to you. And I'm going to say you can interact with this in this moment as if the memory is being played out. She reaches out her hand to you.
Mars is going to take her hand.
She pulls you to your feet. She says, "Don't listen to them. They aren't worth your time. But you're amazing, Amaris. Better than they'll ever be. Don't let them get
Mars
you
just
down."
giggles a little bit. Mars just giggles a little bit and is just like, no, you're amazing.
She laughs and she goes, "How about we both be amazing together?" And she links your arm with hers.
Mars just being like, just a little sarcastic, is just going to be like, okay, I guess I'll be amazing too.
Good. She goes, "I'll race you to the river."
Amaris might cheat a little bit and just get a head start.
Oh, she she starts racing after you. She goes, "Cheetah!" as she shouts as she starts gaining on you. She says, "First one there gets first dibs on dessert." As she goes running. And the memory then kind of closes as you end up gaining the lead on her, making it to the river first. Um, but you're laughing together and by the river, able to splash and have fun together. And this memory comes to you as you conclude this beautiful melody with an air of hope tinging on the wings of, or the wings, the edges of the song as you finish and conclude. All right.
Merilla, as she finishes, stops humming along with the tune. What she's making up, and she just kind of, lady smiles silently up at Amaris.
Amaris just stands there in silence for a bit. And then she turns back to Merilla and
she's walking beside you now.
She hands the lute back to Merilla and just says, "Thank you," and then heads back to the temple.
Are you sure you don't want to do it again?
I'll be all right for now.
All right, Amaris.
Okay. You guys head back to the temple. Dusty.
So actually, Merilla's gonna.
Yes, Merilla?
Actually, I'm not sure anymore. She'll walk. Okay, yeah, she'll walk back with Amaris.
Okay. So guys, once you get there, you're doing something.
I guess Douse would just be asked, like, did you guys get what you needed? Like, are we good? Like, just been sitting here twiddling my thumbs on the steps.
Poor Douse. He's had a really bad day.
That would be probably directed at Merilla, seeing how distraught Amaris might be.
Wait, did you ask me a question?
I asked Merilla a question of like, hey, did you get, as they're coming back to the temple, like, you get what you need? Kind of like, I've been here, twiddling my thumbs.
Merilla's just kind of glance up at Amaris since you addressed her, and she's going to say, "What we needed, yes, I think so.
We should probably go get taxed to her parents soon.
It is rather dark. You're correct.
Yeah. All right, I'll be here.
Mars, are you going inside?
What?
Yes.
Megan said you. Oh, okay.
Okay, are Douse, are all of you guys, you're all going inside?
I'm still outside because I'm like,
you're just gonna chill outside still?
Still somewhat in thought, but like enjoying the air, figuring out some contemplating.
Was there anything that you wanted to do while you were out there, or just like contemplating?
No, he's fine. It's one of those like, what's going on in the temple is a family personal matter, so he's staying out of that.
Okay.
And then he doesn't want to intrude. Is kind of where he's at.
Alrighty. Okay, so pretty much you all but Douse are in the temple now. Dusty, Tax has fallen asleep while holding on to you. She does seem very weak. Still definitely like the good berry filled her and like the bread was a good comfort, but she is very thin, very like physically taxed.
Small and taxed. Okay.
Wow.
Tax
Yep.
is tax.
Yeah.
It was a taxing experience. I'm not surprised.
So as soon as Marilla's in there and she sees Dusty with Tax still on his back, Dusty, you still have Tax.
He brings
It's
one hand
rather
up.
dark outside.
He brings one hand up to his mouth. Well, where his mouth would be.
It's rather dark outside.
Yes. Did we get the money?
I think we should take Tax home. And she's gonna get a little bit closer to you. She'll be like, give some privacy.
He kind of nods. Very, very slightly because Tax is asleep on his back. And then he'll stand up. And then he'll kind of walk out. And then Amaris, she's actually there too. And he just kind of nods to her.
She nods back.
And then he'll leave you there.
And Marilla follows Dusty out.
Okay. The cleric girl, the younger one, she's kind of like, yeah, you could just, if you wanted to, you could just leave the body here for the night. It's fine.
Dusty, you're muted.
I wasn't saying anything.
Okay. All right. So are you all heading over to Tax's house now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I remember who was it? Val and Echo, they were actually with us when we returned Tax.
Yes, that's right. They were.
Lore wise, that's the sequence of events. Because they
You
have
are
a cute
accurate.
little moment.
That's right. So you do return Tax with them. So you guys start heading. It's late at night. And you guys end up making your way down the familiar streets, or well, to dusty familiar streets, to Tax's home, where her mother, which I wrote it down, Girth, where her mother Girth, it lives. You see that that a lantern is hung outside her door. And that it seems like there's a lantern on in the house.
Dusty will go up and knock on the door again.
Okay. You knock on the door and and the door opens. You see Girth there. Her yellow eyes are actually seem to be a little bit stained red, a little red. She is actually holding a small little uh, doll in her hands, and she looks at you, Dusty, um, with this wonderful care, and then her eyes just flick up and lock onto Tax, and she drops the doll, and her hands just go and cover her mouth, um, as tears just start falling. Um,
So Dusty's kind of going to reach up and try to carefully take Tax off his shoulders without waking her up, if he can.
yeah, you can.
He's going to like reach up and take her. And then he's going to kind of cradle her. She's pretty light, so he doesn't really have to strain very much to pick her up. And he's just like, I said I would find her.
She her hand just like kind of goes and she like brushes her like um the hair out of her daughter's face and she's like kind of like cradling her cheek. And she looks up at you and another hand kind of goes up and um holds on to your like cradles your own like head a little bit on the side. And she looks up at you into the goggles and she goes, "My boy, thank you." And she hugs both of you. Um and then she kind of like and then after you guys hug for a moment, she reaches down to try and grab Tax.
Yeah, he hands Tax over to her, and he
Okay.
says, "Careful, she is very, very tired."
She nods and she just like cradles her daughter um and kind of goes into the house and sits down on like her bed, like Girth's bed, and is just like holding on to her. The door is still open.
Dusty's gonna say, "You should be all right here. Um, if you need anything else, we'll be at the tavern."
She nods and um looks to you and says, and she kind of like with one finger kind of points at you with um you see her eyes are narrowed, but there's no malice or anything behind it, just care and mirth. As she says, don't you dare leave town without coming and seeing me."
Of course not. I figure I'd just give you a little bit of time.
She nods and um she just continues holding Tack in her embrace.
Dusty says, "Have a good night," as he like closes the door behind him.
Okay. And she says a soft good night that you can kind of barely hear as you shut the door.
Well, that was sweet, Dusty.
Yeah.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, she needed to get home.
She did.
Most definitely. It's about time we got her home, so I'm glad we did.
And Dusty says, "Thank you all for helping. I wasn't planning on helping them out, but they're a family who means a lot to me. Some of my closest friends. They know more about me than most anyone else does. Not
Does that
everything, but
mean
I've
they know
told them a
what's
lot."
under all the dressings?
I'd rather not say.
Well, you don't have to tell me what it is. I just want to know if they know.
He just kind of shakes his head. He's like,
Dusty, I want to know.
It's like,
Going down
we
the
can
street.
take this. We can take this. He's it's like starts walking.
Okay. You guys head
Douse
back
would,
to the. Oh, yes, Douse?
I say Douse would probably grab Merilla and be like, "Don't. I've already tried,"
What does that mean?
and then he would follow suit.
All right, well, you guys all go back. We'll be there eventually. And she goes off into
Meet
the
at the
streets.
tavern.
Okay.
Yes, I know the. I think I know the way.
And we never
Alrighty.
find her again.
Marilla, roll a
And we forget
performance
her.
roll for me. As the rest of you guys head back to the tavern. So the rest of you guys head back to the tavern. Let me see this.
So this is all just like
Yeah.
very quiet.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm opening a pack
Of dice.
yes for the
Ah,
first
I
time.
see.
So let's see what this first roll is.
Fresh die.
Oh, okay. The freshness of the
That does
die.
not bode well. It's a nat 1, I think. Oof.
You bought a cursed
that
die.
is so that's a total of a 4.
Cursed dice
So-
set.
You start trying to like play some music and you're like on the lute and you're something it's late, you're really tired and sore. It was a long battle, it was dark. I don't know why I'm British suddenly.
Okay, it just highlights the difference in skill between Merilla and Amaris.
Yes. As you're like attempting to kind of like recreate it. And it's just not turning out well. It just
Nope,
sounds like
she's gonna stop trying.
cluttered. Yeah. You actually hear like a baby start crying, like it woke up.
She definitely stops then. I'm so sorry. Like really more for herself to say than for them to hear her.
Mhm.
And then to herself she mutters, I thought I tried to do some more good in the world, but it was apparently a bad idea. She goes off back to the tavern.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So you guys all come back to the tavern. Um, and are you guys all just gonna head to up to bed, take your night's rest?
What happens with Amaris and Nuri in the temple? That's what I want to know.
We went. Well, I always went
Oh, you
to
did?
tax. Didn't really say anything, but was there because then said goodbye and stuff to our babysitters. So
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah, you guys do say goodbye to them before the night ends.
And I would flag most of them down as they were coming back to the tavern.
Alrighty.
So, Mars, are you at the tavern or were you at the temple still?
Yeah, I go to the tavern with you guys. And Douse, are you like at a table at the counter?
Just out of tables off to the side.
Okay.
A
Morris
little bit
is
private.
actually Morris is actually gonna go straight to the room they're staying in.
Okay, she would be the one that I would kind of let go.
Okay.
So
So
Dusty's-
Amaris goes up to her room.
What was Dusty doing?
Oh, I was gonna say Dusty's actually gonna go and talk to Brandon real quick.
Okay.
And he was gonna go to him and say, "We got the kids back to their parents."
Brandon sighs and he says, "Oh, thank you. That's a relief. I'm glad they made it back."
Thank you for taking care of them as far as you did.
Oh, I did what I could. If I hope that I was thinking of my little one. So, well, eventual little one.
Marilla's eyebrows go whoop.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you
But-
very much.
Of course. I wouldn't abandon some kid to some beast, you know. Us tavern folk were made of tougher stuff than that.
Good, good. There's many people who would turn tail at the sight of such a creature. I'm glad you were willing to brave it out. Speaks to your character.
Thank you. And for you all to go and best that beast, I couldn't say anything more to your bravery. It is quite fine. If you at all, any of you in your party, ever need anything, please just ask. We we don't have much, but we can provide free rooms and free drinks,
Free food?
free
Forgive
food.
me.
Give me.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, we do provide. We'll provide you with free food at no cost to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
You
Okay.
found a good one. She kind of like pats the counter where it's at. She says that to Mary,
Oh,
and then she
Mary.
Marilla's gonna like go to the table where everybody else is at.
Okay. You
While
see Mary just like quirk a smile at that, and and she just kind of like touches Brandon's arm and then continues serving drinks.
while they went to talk to Brandon, I would actually like to talk to Douse real quick.
Okay.
Oh boy.
We're like sat down with you at the table while I went to talk to Brandon. Like fidgeting with my book and my pill, not really making eye contact. I owe you an apology. I was stressed and I'm upset, and I said some things that were uncalled for. One, you not being my son, and two, you're an adult. I said no ice cream, and I also said you were grounded, and I am sorry. And obviously, none of that holds anything because you're a full grown person and you're not my son. And I just want to say sorry. And, I hope you'll forgive me, Douse. I'm really sorry about that. I was just really stressed and I was worried, and I thought we were going to lose you too. So I'm sorry. I'm going to just fiddle with my notebook.
I will address that when everybody gets here.
Okay.
But I appreciate your apology. All right. And then
As
whenever
that, yeah, everyone comes
Yeah,
and sits down at this point, except for
so Douse
Amaris, who went right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Douse is gonna sit there and just be contemplating. He's like, all right, so this past day has been unusual.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think we all have something to take back with us. I need to say something real quick to each of you. So first, I don't think any of you comprehend the situation these people are in.
Are you sure?
Yes, maybe you have ideas, but this morning with Brandon missing, granted I was in the wrong, he did exist.
Thank you, Douse.
But that doesn't change. Merilla, I think the way you approached the situation was contentious.
I will agree. I did get a little bit emotional when
Yes.
Mary did not remember her husband.
And it's not everybody understands how that happens and everything. I mean, we saw with Tax kind of how nobody recognized how she had disappeared and just that whole feeling. I think there could have been a better way we could have all gone around that. Nuri, I appreciate your apology and everything. However, when I was going through all that, I needed my space. That being said, I appreciate what you've done. It was wonderful. I'm glad that I did not get lost in that dungeon. Dusty, I was actually really surprised with how well you took care of Tax. However, we spent how much time keeping her further from her family by waiting on everybody. I think we should have gotten there first, Boundary. Amaris, she's grieving. I'll give her a pass. However, you all did save me, so thank you, and first round's on me. All right, good night. Because he did not want to address the fact that he had made a huge mistake and everything, so he had to point out everybody else has to make better on first. Then he can say thank you.
Does he leave
Oh,
too?
Douse, you
Does he
sit
leave
right
too,
back down
or-
there.
He gets up to go pay for everybody's first rounds of drinks.
Not yet.
And Brandon
Douse,
does
sit
not
right back
accept
down
any
there.
payment.
He's like, no, take this. Like, this.
Douse, or Brandon's kind of like, I think your companions are calling you back, and they're kind of giving me a bit of a death glare, so I think you better go back. And he pushes your money back to you.
He starts like going a little bit pale about thinking about having to address that everybody after saying all this. He's like,
For
Oh, no.
my sake, you better go over there.
okay. He'll slowly turn around to go back to the table.
Okay, you sit back
He's
down.
like, very sheepishly, yes. He's like, I said my piece.
Sheepishly.
They've grown on you.
No pun intended.
Ah!
Douse, there's something you need to understand.
Hmm?
It's awfully important.
I think I understood everything. You guys helped me out. I said thank you, and that's the end of it.
Is it?
I tried to pay for your drinks, but they didn't let me.
Correct. I think you
As-
need to understand, Douse,
Mhm.
that all of us understand.
Understand what?
I almost want to hold it up, but Marilla's not going to do that because she wouldn't do that anyway. None of us blame you for anything.
I didn't think so. I imagined it was the beast's fault that I didn't understand or remember anything.
Correct?
Yes. I just think we all could have done something better.
Perhaps, yes.
And
But do you understand, Douse?
just seeing Greg.
That you were a very valuable member of the team when we fought the false Hydra.
I mean, I am
You
pretty
did
amazing.
bring the false Hydra close to the captives, but in the doing so, you did burst the pillar and do a lot of damage to it.
The captives were out of the room. We had them safe.
Yes, but just on the direction, I think it's important, but it's not a point of what I'm trying to prove to you.
Yes.
There's always something that could be done better. But if you only focus on that, you won't focus on what was good, and then your life is going to be miserable.
Oh no, I know I did a good job.
Good.
Yes.
Next time, don't fall under a spell. You can go now.
With that mention of the spell, he gets a twinge of pain.
Nuri's gonna just jump in at that moment. She's been like sitting here, just like, yep, yep. You're like, you should have done better. Should give me my space. I'm like, yep, yep. It's like nodding in with agreement and everything you say. And then he's like, makes maybe leave again. That's when she like leans in and opens her book, and she's like, "So Douse, where's your family? Are they underwater?
Yes.
I'm just curious." We're just seeing a lot of families come up, and we've never talked about your family before.
My family's fine. They're back at the monastery.
Totally fine. No
Yeah.
problems. Are you the youngest, oldest, middle, only?
Only child, but I have a lot of friends. I mean, we basically call each other brother over there, all the monks.
Merilla's going to extend a hand to Nuri's shoulder, like very nicely. Nuri, I would like to say what you did good.
Oh, what I did good?
Yes, you practically do it all the time anyway, but it was so helpful to have your notes. I noticed how you showed them to Douse, when we were in the thing, when you kept forgetting and all that stuff. It was perfectly natural. I mean, it was imperative and vital. We might not have remembered some very important things without your notes.
Yes, some important things, that's true.
And Dusty, you did a fantastic job. Well, I couldn't see very much of it, but changing into animals and whatever else things. Like when you turned into that spider when we were fighting the skeletons. That is super handy.
Yeah, thanks.
I honestly have no idea what I'm doing right now.
I mean, there's definitely improvements to be made around the table, but I agree. Each of us. I mean, none of us are dead. We fought something really horrifying today.
Truly, yes.
Will
I don't want to go to sleep.
No. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get the images out of my head. But we were able to fight it. When it came down to it, each of us did our best. And we all pushed past the adversity. And because of that, we were able to save a few lives.
And the old woman's smile comes back.
For that, I'm proud and I'm grateful for all of you. I appreciate the effort each of you had provided. And it was not an easy task, but we were able to manage. With the help of our babysitters, of course. But we made it.
Lovely babysitters.
Yes, wonderful. But we made it. We're here. And, Douse, you're right. We probably should have taken her text back sooner. But it's more than that. The town was grieving. Everyone was hurting. It was painful to watch. We need to be aware of that these are people going through struggles. We all have our own struggles, our own difficulties. And we have to help the best we can if we truly are to become adventurers. So thank you, Douse, for bringing this up.
No problem. Again, you all did great today. I did not mean this to go this way. I had said my piece and I was intending to go. Anyways, again, thank you for your help. And I'm going to go take a bath. He's going to go upstairs.
Have fun, Douse.
Yeah, Douse, your bracelet is really warm right now.
It's okay. He's going to the bath.
The lore.
The lore. Kind of still I've been in my notes, writing things as all of this has been happening, Nuri. They're still kind of chin on table, just kind of turns to Merilla and she's like, "You did a very good job today as well, Merilla."
Oh, thank
taking
you,
care of the
Nuri.
prisoners and shot awesome fire things at skeletons. It was great. It was all great.
I think most of them missed, but thank you. Appreciate
Oh,
it.
and then you also teleported away, and that was really cool.
Oh, yes, I
Great
did.
job.
That was an ability that Echo let me borrow for a little bit.
You still used it at the right time, though.
Hopefully, I mean, that awfully ugly thing shouldn't get any closer. Could have been a bad
Well,
idea.
yeah, you did a very good job taking care of everyone. Just a little side question. Does your face always glow when you do teleportation magic?
Glow?
You didn't notice your face was glowing blue?
I think there's only one blue person in our party, and it's Douse.
But it did. Your face glowed blue.
My face glowed blue.
Well, if I
When?
were to use my intelligence and seduce some stuff, I'd probably assume it was from your markings. Um, when you did your teleportation spell, the Misty Step and teleported with everyone, your face it glowed blue.
Oh. She seems to like really take that in, and she thinks about it for a good moment. How interesting.
Merilla, where's
Why?
your family? No, just where's your family?
Where is my family? She kind of like looks up at the ceiling. You know, Nuri, I don't know the answer to that.
You don't remember having a family?
I have those that I call my family, but I couldn't tell you where exactly they are. I someplace similar to wherever Dane has gone.
Oh,
Past
were
a
you ever
door
married?
somewhere. But who knows? A simple change in understanding. Existence, perhaps? What even do you call it truly, other than just the name we give it?
And was anyone in your family, did they also have these markings on your face?
No, just me. I woke
It's
up
a
with
rare
them.
thing. Have you ever met anyone with these markings?
No, right, Emily? Right, okay. No, just me.
And you're sure you never were an elf?
I don't understand your questions, Nuri. I'm very human. I look at me. Listen to me. You saw how I fell out of that window when chasing after Val and Echo after we first saw the false Hydra tentacle thing swoosh into the ground. I'm not very dexterous.
That
I
doesn't
am
mean
old,
what
Nuri.
elves are. Yes, yes, you are, Merilla, but that doesn't mean you weren't an elf before. It's
I just noticed the chat.
I'm old.
Okay, sorry. We just got the quote. I am old. Merilla 2023. Okay. If I ever was, for as long as I have been awake, Nuri, I have been Merilla. I have always been myself. I don't know what else to be, as you should hopefully have seen by now.
Oh, who you are, Merilla, is amazing and fantastic. That's not what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
The markings and the glowing, and I've only seen it
Nuri,
one other place before.
so you have? Tell me, Nuri, I want to know. Where else did you see markings like mine?
Currently, it's just Dusty and Merilla at the table with me, right? I'll just do a quick scan, see if there's any elves in the area.
Actually, no, there aren't any elves.
Gonna take a look at all the shadows, just to be safe.
There are shadows in some of the corners, but nothing of what you're looking for in particular.
Okay, I'm gonna lean forward. More secretive. Well, you see, my husband has the same markings,
Yes.
and he's a dark elf.
A
And-
dark elf.
Yes, and as far as I know, only those in his community have those markings. Only
What is
really
his community?
other dark elves. Our son
Where?
has them too. I'm not sure where his community is, honestly.
Hmm.
He didn't like to talk about it much, which is understandable. I mean, yes, understandable. But the only other time his markings glowed, they only glowed once, and that was the last night I saw him. So that's why I was just curious if it's ever happened before, and it was when he traveled through shadows.
When he traveled through shadows.
It was like teleporting, like you did.
Yes, yes, I do see the connection.
And that's why I asked you sure you weren't an elf at one point, because it's only been in his community. A dark elf community. Like looking around.
No one seems to be paying you any attention.
I understand, Nuri. And I understand your interest in this. Your husband disappeared. I thought he died.
Oh, he's just gone. He's not dead. He left. I don't know where.
And naturally you want to find him. Like how we found Amaris Brandon. You don't need to answer that, Nuri.
I do want to find him. But I'm also afraid too.
I don't have a notebook of my own to write the answer into, but if you're willing to share, I am listening, Nuri, and so is Dusty. I imagine Dusty might even know. He knows you are quite taken.
Dusty
Super
kinda,
married.
Dusty kind of chuckles. He says, "Yep."
I actually almost put that in my
I'm-
rant. I was like, Nuri, flirting.
Let me. Some other night.
right.
It's been a lot with Dane and all.
It has been a very, very long day.
I'm gonna just go upstairs.
If I happen
And
to
with that, I also
magically
have to
remember
take a phone
anything,
call.
I will let you know, Nuri.
Okay.
When she's gone, Marilla's going to turn to Dusty. She is
He looks
very
good.
taken.
Yeah, she is. There we go. She cares a lot about her husband.
And her son.
Yes.
How do you know Nuri, Dusty?
Hyla?
Hi.
He kind of tilts his head up, and then he tilts his head back down and looks towards you. And he says, I've known her for not too long, but we're fast friends.
Approximately.
I met her while traveling between the forest and the desert, and we've been friends since then. She's the one out of all of us. She's the one I know the most. I guess second would be, and he kind of tilts his head back up again. He starts like listing them off. He's like, I guess that would be Douse, and then Amaris, and then you.
Fascinating. So here's my question, Dusty, that I've been wondering a long time. Do you think her son is really just sleeping?
For her sake, I hope so.
It's a very fair answer. To be truthful, I think he's just dead.
I hope not. But
I don't know the
It's-
Snooch situation. Maybe he's not. Maybe he is just sleeping. Maybe that's all it is at the end. Sorry, Dusty. Sometimes you think about these things a little bit too much when you turn to be my age.
it's all right. I understand. Well, I suppose if there's nothing else, we best be getting to bed. It's late.
Possibly. I think I will stay down here just a little bit longer, and then I'll retire to bed.
Of course. And Dusty will stand up. And as he's walking upstairs, he'll like pause and then he'll like turn and come back towards the table. And then he'll put his hand down on the table, kind of lean on it just a little bit, and he'll say, and I don't know, I don't have any answers for you about where you came from or anything, really.
I don't expect you to know about me, Dusty. I'm far older than you. You weren't even born yet.
Yeah, far from it. But I want you to know that I trust you. And
I trust you, Douse. Dusty, dang it.
it's okay.
I
It's
trust
okay.
you, Dusty.
No, it's all right. There's the D names. It's anyways. It's beside the point. The point is, if you do ever need anything, just ask.
So if I need to see the unicorn, I can just ask.
Yeah. Of course.
All right, I will be remembering that, Dusty. Thank you.
Anything?
Is
to
there
add?
anything else you wanted to say to me, Dusty?
Nope.
All right. Good night, Dusty. Sleep well.
Good night. I will. Then he's
Okay.
gonna go up to his room.
The shared room with Douse that still has 4 beds in it.
The tour companions we don't remember.
Yes. No, no. No, the 2 companions who have gone, the babysitters are gone.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, and eventually, Merilla, after some time, you head back up and
She
take
considers
your.
playing her lute for everyone, but then she remembers the baby crying. She's like, nope.
Oh no. She's like, yeah, maybe not. And as you are heading upstairs, that's when Brandon and Mary start to well, as Brandon and Mary start to clear up and clean up the place and start kicking people out and stuff. Um, so you're able to head back up in your guys' room. Um, there is still that 4th bed there, and with the bag still open with its contents kind of spilled out on the bed, with the pair of shoes underneath. Amaris and Nuri are in bed at this point, so Merilla, you can also go in bed and
Marilla's going to put everything back in the bag, remove the bag from the bed. She's going to make the bed, put the bag on top of the bed, and take the worn travel shoes and put them on top of the bag on top of the bed. And then she's
okay.
going to go to sleep.
Alrighty, you do so. All right, then you go back to sleep. Dusty, while Douse is bathing, yes, you can roll a survival check for finding bugs.
7.
7. You can find there's like the window's open, so there's like some flies that come into the room, but you don't find any other bugs.
Catch it.
Because flies are not bugs.
Hold on. Wait. Yes, I catch it. Hold on.
You're
I'm going to try to catch it with my hands first. And then if that doesn't work, I'm going to try using magic.
okay. Roll a dexterity roll.
11.
11. It just zooms just barely out of your grasp.
Okay, fine. But it asked for this. I'm going to cast Earthbind.
On the fly. Okay.
Its wings are bound, and it doesn't have a flying speed anymore. As long as it succeeds on a strength saving, unless it succeeds on a strength saving throw. So make a strength saving throw. Fly.
6. Actually, no, it's gonna have
Fails.
negatives, so it's probably like a 3.
It fails.
Okay, it fails, and these little tiny little like dirt cords come out of like the clay walls and just wrap around the fly just really fast and like pull it down. You catch the
Okay.
fly.
I caught the fly. I'm so excited. Okay.
Reveling in triumph.
Nice. And that's going to take a
Triumph.
2nd level spell slot. Okay. And he's going to pick up the fly, and then he is going to produce his pet scorpion. And he
Scorpion crawls out onto your hand, scuttles out.
and he's going to feed the fly to the scorpion.
You do so, and he happily eats the scorpion. Or no, he happily eats the fly.
No.
Scorpion eats the fly.
Darwinism.
Right? Happily. And what's your scorpion's name again?
His name is Dusty.
Dusty. Okay, so Dusty happily eats the fly, and just kind of like chitters in your palm.
He's just kind of playing with the scorpion. He's petting it, and he's like tapping his fingers in front of it, like, you know how like you play with a cat. How like sometimes you get it to like try and swipe at you and then pull your hand
Yeah.
back, and he's just playing with the scorpion.
Yeah, the scorpion is like pinching with it trying to grab at you and trying to like almost sting, but not like actually sting, you know.
It's a little bit more deadly at the game.
Yeah, at the game. And as you're doing so, Douse walks into the room with like a towel. Like, yeah. So Douse, you see him playing with a scorpion on his hand.
Did I miss something?
Oh, no. This is Dusty. He's my friend.
All right. Go over, grab my clothes, and just. That thing better not sting me in my sleep.
Oh no, it won't. He's very kind. He's very kind.
Alrighty. And you guys go to sleep?
Yep.
Alrighty.
Yep.
You guys go to sleep. And morning rises. Alrighty, you hear a little bit more of a bustle outside as you guys wake up. You kind of wake up a little later in the day. Not like too late. But you guys hear a little bit more chatter kind of happening outside the window. But other than that, the day dawns, and what are you guys gonna do?
I mean,
Merilla's
I would go
gonna stay-
shopping for ingredients. Oh.
Hmm?
After eating breakfast, I'd go shopping for ingredients to make that jerky.
Okay, wait, what jerky?
In my recipe.
Oh, yes,
Travel
that's right.
jerky.
The travel jerky, yes. Well, the travel jerky is like any sort of meat, pretty much. Like, you just know how to make jerkied meats now, so you can get any meat, basically.
Okay. Well, that's what he's gonna be doing. He's gonna go grocery shopping today. Is what I was saying.
Alrighty, grocery shopping. All right. Anyone else? What are you guys doing?
Merilla's just kind of like stay rolled up in her blankets until Amaris and Nuri are up and going.
Well, there is like no sign of Amaris getting up anytime soon.
Then for now, Nuri's just gonna stay there.
You mean
Sorry, not
Merilla?
Nuri. Merilla, thank you. Yes. I was thinking this is something Nuri would like take care of.
Okay. All right. Dusty, are you doing anything right now?
No, just getting up and heading out to the floor below, waiting for the party.
Okay. So you can head down, start eating some breakfast. You actually have breakfast with Douse before Douse heads out. Anything happen then?
No, they'll just kind of like sit down next to Douse.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, Douse, you leave, and Dusty, are you gonna wait for the girls?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So Dusty, you stay there. Douse, you leave. Okay. So as you're heading kind of out, you hear a little bit more of like a bustle of like people going around, and what you actually see is something pretty amazing. You see a lot of like townspeople helping each other, offering like food, and you see a bunch of guys like going and like rebuilding some of the buildings. You actually see a bunch of them with like piles of like sand starting to like fill in holes around the town. Where some tentacles would pop up and stuff. Um, you see a lot of people kind of working together. And in kind of the center of it all, you actually see this copper dragonborn. Okay. He is
Yes.
He's very tall, very wearing like a nicer outfit. Um like a very nice tunic, nice pants, shoes. Um he seems to have like a brooch over like a half cape kind of a thing. He doesn't look like gaudy, but you can definitely tell that he is like more wealthy. He seems to be like kind of directing people, um, saying the Halversons, they need some help over here. Sorry, that wasn't going to be his voice. The Halversons, they need some help over here. If you can bring yes, ladies, please. If you want to head over there, I'm sure that Gerth and her family could use some help. Um, there, he seems to be directing some things, um, and you actually see um this another dragonborn behind him, a red dragonborn. Uh, she actually she's dressed similarly to him, but she's actually got a sling wrapped around her, and you can actually see that there is a dragonborn infant in her sling across her chest. Um as she's like going around lifting, she's got like two pails of water on like this stick basically. um and she seems to be like walking around just chilling with her baby as she's like walking around bringing water to people, um helping out the town, dressed similarly wealthy.
Okay. I probably wouldn't approach either of those two, but I might file in line with someone going off to a different side and kind of anonymously start helping out.
Okay. All right, you can definitely start helping out, and they definitely will put you to work. Basically, any able-bodied person, they put them back to filling in holes, rebuilding some houses, helping other people, comforting others. There's a lot of like more like older people, and there's actually a group of kids that are like with this group of like older folks. Um, and they're actually like, you see like one of the little kids is like handing flowers and like putting them in the old people's hair, and like they're just like, it seems to be this community gathering of people who are just trying to help each other. You see a whole bunch of line of like this baker who him and his family are like passing out like pastries and stuff to everyone. Um, you actually see Girth with Tax at her side. Similarly, there passing out loaves of bread. Um, and Tax is just like right next to her. It seems like Tax kind of like looks over at like the other kids and is still like holding onto her mom's skirts and kind of like hiding behind them. Um, munching on like little bits of bread that
It's
she's
cute, but it's
sneak.
trauma.
True. But yes, you see all of that.
Okay. I would probably so Girth house that needed a little bit of work, correct? Or that's what I had overheard
You heard that someone was like pointing out
from
that her
the
family could use a little help. Um, but yeah, pretty much what you ended up seeing was actually like a basket of like some other like ingredients being handed to her. Stuff that can help like feed her house and stuff like that.
Okay, I would definitely go and join in with that. Like, hey, I I heard you guys needed a hand. What can I do for you guys? And then I would probably flick a little bit of water from my water skin onto Tax just to like mess with her.
She kind of like she laughs a little bit. Well, okay, so when you first come over, she kind of like hides shyly behind the skirts. But when you flick a little water onto her, you see this kind of like goofy grin kind of go. And she reaches out her hand towards your hand.
And a little water hand will come out of the water skin to shake it.
And she laughs a little bit more. She like kind of grabs it and plays with it. And then she goes, she just points at you and she goes, "Funny man."
He's gonna be a little bit proud of himself.
hmm And then she kind of like looks up at you, and then she kind of like looks up at her mom, and Girth is like, it's okay. It's okay. He helped save you. You're fine. And she just kind of like goes up and she just like wraps her arms around your leg.
Is she that
Must be
short, or are we
deathly
about the same
jealous.
size?
Oh yeah, how tall are you?
I'm about 4 foot.
4 foot. Oh, okay, yeah. I guess she's hugging your waist. That's right, because you're not as big as Dusty is.
No.
So she just
I'm like
kind
a
of like
teenager
gives
size.
you okay,
Preteen
yeah.
size.
She just gives you kind of like a quick hug, basically. Um, and then she kind of like grabs your uh hand if you let her.
Sure.
Okay. And then she starts pulling you away.
I would like, hold on one second. Do you and I would address the mother, do you guys need any help? Like, that's why I came here.
Girth smiles and she goes, we're doing pretty good right now. But we've just got some help with some ingredients, and I'm hoping to make some more bread this evening. Or, well, more this afternoon to be able to pass out once we finish all these loaves.
I would love to help out if that's possible. You said this afternoon?
Yes, in just in just a little bit. But yes, you are more than welcome to come. I'll teach you my recipe.
All right, I'll play with your daughter for now, just a little bit, and then I'll come back whenever you need me.
Alrighty. Thank you.
All right, and then I would follow her along.
Okay. You follow as Pax leads you over to the other like group of kids. Um and she's like holding on to your hand basically still. And one of the little girls is like got like all these flowers that she's been like putting in the old people's hair. And so Tax like grabs one of the flowers from like her little basket, and she like starts reaching up to try and put it in your over your ear.
I mean, she doesn't have to reach far, but all right.
Yeah. So she puts it in your ear. Um and then she's gonna motion for you to lean down. Like get
Skeptically,
yeah.
is she hiding anything?
No, she's not hiding anything.
Okay.
She's just trying to because she it seems like she mostly wants to talk in like a whisper still.
Okay.
She doesn't talk
Yeah.
very loud.
All right. What's up?
And she pulls you down, she goes, I don't think you're a mean guy.
Don't tell Dusty.
she she goes, what? He's my best friend.
I know, but I'm keeping it a secret.
That you're secretly a nice guy?
Yes.
Okay, funny guy. And then and then she just kind of like pats your hand like like it's almost like she's mimicking something that she's seen like other people do. And she just goes, I think you're trying your best.
Being the player and knowing where it's all coming from, I laugh. Douse not knowing where it's coming from is a little like, thank you. Yeah.
He just goes, And she starts like leading you around basically to all the people that like are in the square pretty much, and she just kind of like points for you to look at them. She's like she's not saying anything, but she's just like you'll hear her whisper like a look like every now and then. She's like just leading you around to places. To places
I,
and people.
I'm like semi keeping watch on her is mostly why I'm following her around, just to make sure she doesn't get swept up in the crowds. This family's had enough trouble already. They don't need this daughter to go missing again.
Very true. Very true. Um, yeah, so while that's happening, we will come back to the tavern with the girls.
Well, as Amaris has still just been in bed, there's two things I want to ritual cast identify on. One was the bracelet thing, and the other one was the small vial that my mage hand had collected from the pile of skeletons.
Okay, we will do the vial first. You cast identify, and can you put the spell's description in the chat?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got you.
Dankeschön.
I mainly have to figure out if it's worth anything. But that's not like what the spell is gonna tell me.
You choose one object that you must touch throughout the casting of the spell. If it is a magic item or some other magic imbued object, you learn its properties and how to use them, whether it requires attunement to use, how many charges it has, if any. You learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are. If the item was created by a spell, you learn which spell created it. If you instead touch a creature. Okay. Alrighty. So you first cast it on this potion. Okay. And you identify it to be a potion of fire breath.
That's pretty cool. Is that generally worth a lot of money? I don't know. Spitball.
I mean, yeah, it's generally worth like a fair amount. Not like a ton, but like a good
Like
amount.
500?
Not that much.
Darn. Okay.
Yeah. Probably about 50 gold. Um, and then on the chunk of the like bracelet that you have, it's like all made out of stone with these like carvings in it. Um, okay. My computer, is not a fan of loading, as we all know this. Okay. Yes, as we've all discovered. Okay.
As you're doing that, Nuri, Merilla is going to like shift around, still rolled up on her blankets, and just kind of like watch you. I imagine you might have your back to her. I don't know. She's not like watching creepy. She's just observing.
My back's probably to the bed, so you can probably see everything I'm doing.
She's identifying it and casting this ritual spell. On this one, so now you're casting it on the like stone piece that you have. Hey, let me get this. Okay. So this one's a bit trickier. As you yes, as you identify this, it takes 10 minutes to cast. You identify that this is like a stone ring that was built, um, constructed, basically carved, stuff like that. Um, a trying to see properties, magic imbued. Okay, you can sense that the magic that was imbued in it is not there anymore. When it broke, it like was destroyed, kind of thing. Like the magic enchantment broke. Because it seems to be like a focus um of like magic power, pretty much. The focus of this stone, the purpose of the spell itself that was like on this stone kind of lies with absorption. Absorption of like energy, magic. It's a little unclear, but specifically you can kind of gauge like magic energy, like it's absorbing it basically. Um, but at a slow and steady pace and almost like transferring it somewhere else. Um, you also sense that this ring has the magic that was in it also has some form of control. Like it's able to, the spell that was on it is almost like an enchantment that it was able to control the being it was wrapped around. Um, to a certain degree. You don't know whether that was its mind or its movements. But you can identify that it had some sort of control over the monster, basically, that it did not want. It Once it was destroyed, these magical effects were gone. I'm trying to see if there's anything else on this. Um, yeah, I think. Okay, you learn its properties, how to use them, whether it requires an attunement to use. Yeah, it's not an attunement. It's like something that was basically placed around this monster, could control the monster to some certain degree, via an attunement to someone else. And that it had two purposes. One, to control some facet of this monster, and two, to absorb magical energy. In some regard, you don't know specifically what that specific essence of magical energy is, but that's pretty much what you got through, is that it absorbs stuff and controls stuff. But it is broken now, so it doesn't work.
You won't be able to put it on Dusty to get him to tell you what he is.
Okay. So after I do that, I'm gonna just put that away, put my notes away, not even address it. And I'm going to go to Amaris, and I'm going to just nudge her, kind of awake, and like, Amaris, Amaris.
Amaris shifts around a bit and then like sits up in bed, and she's not looking at anything or anyone in particular. Roll perception check.
I will roll a perception check.
A little spooky.
It turns out she was
When
dead.
Amaris sits up, Merilla is also going to sit up in her blanket burrito and just like watch.
Or if you're like if you're looking at Amaris too, you can roll perception as well.
Okay, let's see if these dice are nicer to me this time. Oof.
Were they?
13.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll say you both notice hints that maybe she spent majority of the night crying.
Nuri, perhaps we should give her some time.
Time like the present. Amaris. I love you
He's not looking
so,
at you.
so much. So, what happened last night? Are you deciding you don't want to try to bring back Dane? Are we bringing back Dane?
That's good. She doesn't know.
Amaris is silent for a good while. before she says, I wasn't able to get any of it. I don't have the money to bring her back.
I'm gonna just wrap you in a hug.
Merilla is going to get out of her blanket burrito and she's going to join the hug. Carla led the bloop bloop.
Amaris, we got some cool magic items. I'm sure whatever I get out of the magic items we've collected, assuming we aren't returning them to anyone, we can use that. That's worth way more than a diamond. We'll get her back.
Amaris nods and just says, let's try it.
Gonna give you another hug and kiss you on the forehead.
And she just like buries her face in your shoulder, just like, you know, like when Judy Hopps like goes over to Nick Wilde and just
I'm just gonna stay there for a while, hugging you. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna do because we are out of time. So
Merilla is just kind of like, just like stay with both of you with her arms. And after a while, she's going to say, does anyone know what's for breakfast?
Bread.
Alrighty. So you guys can head downstairs to meet Dusty and eat some free breakfast as much as you want to eat, Merilla. Um, um, and as you guys do so, we will pick up back with that later next week. Um, coming back real quick to Douse. As you are also still like watching tax and everything, it is starting to grow a little later in the day. Not quite afternoon, about maybe like 11, so like right close to there. Which I would say is when you guys all gather down to the tavern for some much needed breakfast. What is it? Brunch? Some much needed brunch. Um, So as you guys are all dining and you are out having fun with Tax, as she's still a little skittish, at times, there are a couple loud noises that will happen of someone dropping like a log or people chattering a little bit that will actually make her kind of like cower behind you a little bit, or jump and startle because the noise is just a bit much for her. Um, and
I I wouldn't get too close at those moments, but I'd do a little bit of reassuring, like kind of just a small pat on the head, like you're good, you're good.
okay.
You know, keeping a little bit of distance because like I just met this girl the other day,
Mhm.
but like you are a child, you've gone through some traumatizing. I understand you need to recuperate.
Mm-hmm. And so as you do that, she guides you back to going to her mother, um, but not before pointing at the dragonborn woman with the baby strapped to her chest. And she whispers in your ear. Um, I literally had it pulled up. Okay, one second, one second. I had it. It was gonna be so cute. Okay, okay. She just kind of like whispers in your ear and she goes, "That's baby Solseth."
Baby Soul said, who's that?
Oh, he's the Baron and the Baroness's son.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, girl. That was my fault. Okay. Weird.
oh, maybe she had a blue blanket on and we just didn't understand.
Yeah, basically, blue blanket. She kind of like points and she's like, she's a cutie.
Oh yeah, I bet you were that cute when you were that young. You just kind of like, what do I say to that? Like,
And then she just kind of like smiles, and you see her like sneak some more bread away and like rip some of it off, and she hands some to you as she like starts nibbling on her own piece.
Like, thank you. I know someone who would love this.
Alrighty. And as you were talking about that and storing it, right? Your bracelet begins to start to get warm. And as it starts to get warm and you guys are all enjoying a wonderful meal at the tavern, we are going to close and conclude tonight's session, to be picked up next week. Woo! Um,
Bit of a
such
heavy
a
session.
Yeah, bit of a heavy session, but also kind of a wholesome session at the same time.
We got all the rewards for all our good deeds we have ever done in our entire lives today. It was pretty cool.
No need for combat. Everything was entertaining.
It was purely role play. Dang.
I had fun.
Oh, I'm glad
The
you guys had
lore.
fun. The lore.
There was so much lore, you guys.
Oh, the
Merilla stopping
lore.
Douse and going back upstairs.
Oh
He had
gosh.
his escape plan and everything. He's like, I'm just gonna pay it and leave. Like, go back. No.
Awarded.
No.
Like, let me. So,
Don't make me do it.
final thoughts on tonight's session?
Merilla wants to go join the old people and get flowers. But she doesn't know about them yet, so she actually doesn't, but I want her to. That's my thought.
Eventually, next session.
I had the thought of Douse going around to each of them and grabbing stuff for the rest of the party, but being like, this would be in the case of the fact that he tried to say thank you, but it didn't seem like it went over well. So this is him like, no, guys, I'm saying thank you. Take it and let this end.
Just take it.
It's like I can't be in debt forever.
It's not over for him yet.
That was pretty funny though. That was scolding everyone.
I thought that
Like,
was
and
hilarious.
you messed up, and you messed up.
Going around. I'm surprised none of us said high or low on that. Not a single one of us went high or low, Douse. No one. We were all just like, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, could have done better. Yeah, I'm especially surprised at Nuri because she was already upset, like fuming at this priest guy. She calmed down.
was expecting her to blow up on me.
Yeah, I was too. I was like, oh, this is not going over well.
No, she already felt bad about saying he was grounded when he's a full-grown man and not even her son.
I didn't even
Oh, yeah.
remember that at all. Like, you were
That was
talking about it, and I
hilarious.
was like, what?
I
The grounded
remembered
part,
it as soon as
I
you
think I
talked
do
about
remember
it.
that.
You wouldn't even care so much about the grounded part because it was just like he had the other stuff that he was already upset about, of like you getting into his personal space, everything.
I
She might
almost
not have
made a
learned that
comment about that.
lesson.
I wanted to say so bad, like, what else were you expecting from Nuri? It's Nuri.
Of course, right?
But I didn't. I held myself back.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, with that, anything you guys want to say to the viewers?
Love you.
Come back
Love you
again.
all.
Happy Friday.
Come back, or else Rilla
It
won't
doesn't
get any bread.
Exactly. Come back for
Come back,
Merilla.
or else Merilla is coming to get your bread.
Oh yes, get their bread. I
Oh,
like that.
But
Yeah.
if you do come back, she will stare lovingly at you as an old.
She'll give you a
elderly
grandma
woman.
smile.
Grandma smile.
Grandma Smiles. All right, so
I
if
don't
you
even
want
know.
Grandma Smiles from Merilla, come back and watch next week's session. If you have a bread shortage, we know why. Um, other than that, thank you guys for watching so much, and we will see you next week.